When I wake up in the morning and I see your face, I'm becoming blind by your dazzling grace. What a beautiful feeling to be close to you. There's nothing else I wanna do. Ooh, and from the fields of flowers you chose to pick me. You're spreading sugar on my misery, and I don't fake this kind of feeling, never felt so real. My heart is on the table 'cause you're my everything. I do, I wanna marry you. 'Cause when you're around I know it's true. The way you make me feel is so good, baby. So good, so good. Every single day we spend apart, I wanna be with you. Baby, take my hand, hold it tight just like you do. Feels so good, so good. And I do, I wanna marry you. 'Cause when you're around I know it's true. The way you make me feel is so good, baby. So good, so good. Every single day we spend apart, I wanna be with you. Baby, take my hand, hold it tight just like you do. Feels so good, so good.
telephone, cigarettes, relieve the stress. Cup of Jack, I'm you know other fucking facts. I can't stay, I need to say what's on my mind. We fuss and fight, yeah, all night. This is insane, no more games. But no one's calling, like to New Orleans. I'm tired of stalling, need to be performing. I don't care if you don't want it, no more warnings. I can't pretend this is the end. This is the last time that I say goodbye, that I make you cry, that I say you're. This is the last time. Won't apologize, won't apologize, won't apologize. This is the last time. Dressed to kill, feel the pain. I wanna take another, but I never will. I beat again, wash my hands of all the debt and pressure and you burn them. I can't stay, I need to say what's on my mind, what's on my mind. We fuss and fight, yeah, all night. This is insane, no more games. But no one's calling, like to New Orleans. I'm tired of stalling, need to be performing. I don't care if you don't want it, no more warnings. I can't pretend this is.
그대로 끝납니다. 그랜드 파이널 온트 블라스터 마지막 경기를 잡아내는 우승을 차지합니다.
사실 이번 메타에 적응을 못하는 그런 그림들을 보여주면서 이게 정말 지난 시즌 우승팀이 맞나 싶을 정도로 좀 안 좋은 행보거든요.
우리할 메카까지 붙었어요.
어쌔신.
어쌔신!
야, 이거
적어도 나노 용검 2번은 돌린다.
뭐야 이거? 야, 지금 우리가 바로 끌어냈거든요.
So scandalous, so corrupt. I do
이제 저희가 플레이오프가 확정이 됐는데 당연히 올라올 줄 알았고 딱히 무서운 상대가 없었던 것 같아요. 제 선에서 다 처리해 가는.
용검! 어쌔신.
대박인데요?
야,
이걸!
ting겨내기 와!
하하하!
진짜 말렸어.
ting겨내기!
어쌔신!
와!
mistaken or just awakened. I'm a criminal, so despicable.
플레이오프를 처음 온 것도 있고 그래서 그렇게 무시를 한 것 같은데
방심하다가 맞은 팀이 한둘이 아니어가지고 쉬울 것 같아요.
비트! 세이브!
네.
이제 돌아옵니다. 오!
자, 근데 성찬이 먼저 채워서 바로
네, 바로
눌렀고요.
비트 세이브 나와요.
아, 네, 페이스가 너무 좋았네요.
야,
이게.
타이밍 예술이.
어제의 엘미보다 오늘의 엘미가 조금 더 보완되어 온 것 같다라는 생각이 드는 건 사실입니다.
임삼치.
임삼칠이
LCD 좋다고 왔는데.
무기로 위기를
와우.
오우. 끊었어. 바로 살리죠.
My blood is 100 proof. Make God have mercy on you. 'Cause I want
시작하겠습니다. 이면서 들어온 것 잡고 와.
WG의 스킬스가 엄청나네요. 코싱 능력은 거의 팀 중에 최고가 아닌가.
그렇죠.
그런 생각이 듭니다.
결국은 나가는 걸 봤을 때
들어가서
네. 바닥을 누르면 밟아줄 게 있어야 돼요. 어쌔신이 진짜 하고 있는데 문제는
조까지 왔습니다.
매그 선수의 안정성 그리고 탄탄함 여기에서 비롯되는 딜러진들의 연계 그리고 힐러진들의 케어 진짜 강팀의 요건을 갖추고 있는 팀이 러너웨이다라는 생각이 듭니다.
Stage, set, lights down, curtain raised, and the cup center stage. Good evening and welcome to the Contenders Season 2 Grand Finals, once again live.
Back at the Hot 6 Africa Coliseum here. Contenders Korea for 2020 has taken place. Last season, we crowned O2 Blast as the first-time champions of 2020, and now in Season 2 as we approach the winter period for the Northern Hemisphere. Runaway and WGS look to take the crown next. One of these two teams will be your Season 2 champion.
One of them, a repeat winner across so many different incarnations. A name that is now synonymous with Korean Tier 2 Overwatch. And on the other side, WGS Phoenix, a team that in many incarnations has not been able to amount to much. Even looking at their best in recent history, they still could not make the cut. But tonight, further than they have ever been before, and against the very team that sent them home in Season 1, they have their chance to do what O2 Blast did last season and claim their first title ever.
And this is the kind of year when we can start forgetting about past performances with WGS preceding 2020 and 2019. They went 0-7 in that second season. That is not the type of WGS that we'll be watching tonight. They go up against some heavy favorites here. WGS have been a fantastic team in 2020, but speaking of fantastic teams in 2020, Runaway, second place in Season 1, falling down to O2 Blast. They now come back for revenge. They already got that revenge on O2 Blast. The real revenge they're looking for is in the grand finals to take that trophy, take that #1 place, and now they're staring at the opportunity to do so.
And I can say with absolute certainty, both of these teams have earned the right to be here. Neither finished first in their respective groups. Both beat the opposing group's champion. That, to me alone, says that these two teams are up to snuff. But I think it has been the gameplay itself that has shown it more than anything else. The proof has indeed been in the pudding.
Let's be clear about something here as well. WGS are the type of team that can take it to Runaway. In fact, can beat Runaway, have beaten Runaway. Look at last season. Look at the weekly stages as well. Week 4, Contenders Korea Season 1. That is a 3-1 result in that grand final for that week. Very high seeding walking into the playoffs as well, where WGS knocked down Runaway into that lower bracket. But like you mentioned a little bit earlier, that was that lower bracket that Runaway did get their revenge, knocking WGS in that lower bracket final, then heading over to the grand finals, eventually losing to O2 Blast. So close yet so far for both of these teams, but more so for Runaway, who got to that grand finals and just fell short.
And make no mistake, we've talked in the past about these historied teams, the long-standing rivalries that have existed between many of these entities. We talked about it at great length last week between Runaway and O2 Blast, but we've closed the book on that one. And I think this has to now become our defining rivalry for the year, not just because it is going to determine the Season 2 champion, but also because this has been such a different year for WGS. It feels like for the first time, this is a team we can talk about with an air of auspiciousness, an air of, I don't want to say superiority, but you start to put them up there with the giants. And I honestly think part of that hasn't just been the individual performance. It's one thing to be a hotshot team in a season when you've performed poorly in the past. It's another to come into the finals against a team who you can earnestly say you now have a genuine rivalry with across the year.
Let's be clear about something here as well. Every single iteration of Runaway, like you had mentioned earlier, had found success in the Contenders era. 3-time champions here now. You look towards the 2018 season. Season 2, Season 3, both champions there. 2019 season, Season 2, Runaway champions once again. Two different generations of players. Two generations of players that have gone on to great success in the Overwatch League. You look at this team now. Assassin and Mag came from that 2019 roster. They have yet to find their win in 2020, falling short again in Season 1, and now in the Grand Finals, back-to-back Grand Finals for these players, for this team, and a chance for this iteration, this generation, the third generation of Runaway, to finally get a victory.
And you can see more than anything else, I think, the stage may be set for triumphs, but the stage is equally set for heartbreaks, for WGS to fall again to Runaway at those most critical junctures when they have beaten them in the past, when they know they can beat them, when they genuinely have the capacity and the ability. If they fell short tonight at what is the most critical moment ever, it would break their hearts in two. But for Runaway, just as you were saying, that would make this the first Runaway squad to not pick up a win in history.
And that would be dire consequences. I mean, it's not that dramatic, but at the same time,
Certainly be unprecedented.
There's a legacy to live up to here for this roster. You look at the players like Mag and Assassin, they're the two veterans on this team. Assassin, especially as a player that I've mentioned in the past, for the past times that we have seen Runaway, you didn't get to see much of this guy in 2019, despite him being on that roster, because he was living in the shadow of Yaki the entire time. Similar hero pool, same role being played here as well. And finally, here's his chance. He gets to be the star player. He gets to be one of the core six here that now get to try and reclaim that glory. And let's be clear about something else as well. Runaway, they ended up dropping to teams like Element Mystic plenty of times in 2019. Gauntlet was not the run that Runaway were looking for. Even knocked down by Atlanta Academy. They were one of the teams taken down by a Western squad. That was something that was unprecedented at that time as well. So I think both teams have something to really envy there from their past. 2019, you look at WGS, poor results. They envied the fact that there are teams like Runaway that continually win. You look at Runaway as well. They never won to the level teams like Element Mystic were able to reach. So this could be the beginning. This is the kind of pathway that both teams now want to take part on.
It certainly feels like there is all the same glory as always on the line for these teams. Winning in Korea, it's no small feat. It has always been significant and historical when it happens. You can define Korea by who was winning and when and why, what players were on those teams, where they ascended to afterwards. You mentioned how many members of Runaway have gone on to go to places like the Overwatch League. Teams like Element Mystic, who did so well across last year, who had players also move up to Overwatch League. This is the crucible for that sort of talent, and the winning teams always have the better chance.
If you run away right now, you're not looking at the situation thinking that this is going to be the final stop for you, because you've been through a grand final before, but you did fall short, and that can happen again. WGS, again, I have to reiterate, are the type of team that can do that too. WGS is going to be the type of team that I don't look at this necessarily as a major underdog here. I look at these teams fairly equal. I think Runaway, look, if I'm going to be honest about this one, you'd have to say they're somewhat favored here. The team looks fantastic. They've had a good season. Playoffs buff has come into full effect for this team, but for WGS, they beat Element Mystic, a team during the season that I repeatedly said was looking like the, and by the sources as well, the best Contenders Korea team at the time. They beat Runaway. That's the type of team that has now been taken out of the way by WGS. So Runaway can be happy about that one. They got rid of Element Mystic fairly early on, courtesy of WGS. Got past O2 Blast fairly early on as well. Talked about the potential for the Talon beating Runaway almost in a sort of upset kind of way. That did not go well for Talon. Runaway beat that challenge as well. Now the final challenge of the grand finals awaits us, and WGS will not be an easy opponent. They have had great results versus Runaway in the past, and they can still be the bogey team to Runaway now.
I don't think either team is going to be sleeping on this one. Obviously, one part of that is because it is a grand final. You want to bring your A game. But I think both of these teams almost need to think like they are the underdog, like they have the uphill battle. They need to each play as though they are the ones with something to prove. Even though you might look at this and on paper go, Runaway, yeah, they're good. They win a lot. They often win in the second season, as it happens. This Runaway squad isn't going to think of themselves like that. I guarantee you.
You're going to earn that.
Exactly. They're going to come into this humble and prepared.
Each iteration of Runaway has to earn their own legacy, they make their own mark. And while the two versions that we've seen before have certainly done that, and we've seen Runaway fall short. Let's go back to Apex. Runaway consistently fell short. They've been to grand finals. They've gone to 7 maps, 8 maps, and have fallen short. It is not all smooth sailing. It is not a happy ending every single time for Runaway. But recent success has been pretty decent. However, they need to continue that trend. Can they continue that trend? And for WGS as well, they've always been that outside team. You can look at these results. That's from last season. You saw how close WGS have gotten in the past. This is the best they've ever played. The best year ever for a team like WGS. No, they couldn't beat O2 Blast last season. Neither could Runaway. O2 Blast now have been taken out of the way for both of these teams. And O2 Blast, well, we can talk about how they felt. We can talk about how they did win. They came back, didn't look too hot coming into the season. That's fine for teams like WGS and Runaway. They're ready to take their place and they're ready to win where O2 Blast couldn't do it.
And I talked about this a little bit last week as we started to see the first part of our playoffs panning out. I kind of talked about wiping the slate clean, saying goodbye to the Korean contenders of the past. And as much as we talk about the history, as much as we talk about especially Runaway, you know, the pattern of winning in Season 2, the idea that each and every incarnation of the roster has to earn its stripes. We talk about WGS as being the first time they've ever been here. But really, when I look at this season, when I look at the shape of all things, we're playing a completely different game than what we were this time last year, the year before, and so on. The sorts of teams we talk about and we take seriously, it's changing. It's changing dramatically. And this could prove to be the pinnacle of that change if WGS clinch the win. And I think if Runaway pick it up, it's not going to be like when Runaway has won in the past. This is going to be a Runaway that has come out the top of a very different, and I dare say, far more modern and threatening looking field than in the past.
Yeah, plenty of threatening teams on the board for sure. I mean, you look at how this season panned out. You mentioned this one earlier, but neither of these two teams came out as first seed in their respective groups. They all dropped games somewhere. You looked at WGS dropping a game to Talon. Runaway obviously dropped that game very early on to Element Mystic, and we always felt like, okay, these are teams that are a bit of a cut above here. We knew what we were looking at going into playoffs, and well, I mean, the teams that still stand are not the number 1 seeded teams. They're actually going to be the number 2 teams coming through from each group as well. And these two teams have not played each other this season. Plenty of history in the previous season. Let me tell you that one. Look, WGS won more last season. I'll be very clear about it. But Runaway won when it counted in that loser bracket final. And every single time these guys meet each other, it's a difficult game. It's a difficult game for either side. We've seen 3-0s. Yeah. WGS have 3-0 Runaway. Runaway have 3-0 WGS. Is this going to be a very quick game today? I should think not. It should be a very close one. It should be a very hard-fought one. Both teams in the grand finals, WGS get their grand finals run that they wish they got last season, and now they're here, and they have to beat Runaway to get to it.
I certainly hope it's not a short one. I hope it's a long one. I am prepared, I am buckled in, and I'm ready for a solid back-and-forth, hard brawl down to the last bell. That is the kind of match I want to see between these two teams tonight. And I want to talk about wins that count. You brought up something really interesting there, because you also want to look at the paths that people have taken to get to this particular point. I wonder which semifinal counts for more. Is it the 3-0 against the hotshot up-and-comer Talon? Or is it the 3-2 against the untoppable Titan that was Element Mystic prior to that point? And a part of me looks at that. As much as I might love Talon, as much as I might have thought they were genuinely on the path to be here in the finals, when they showed up in their semi-final, they did not look like the Talon that had dominated the regular season. Element Mystic, on the other hand, didn't look far off their selves that had dominated their group. And to my mind, that might just suggest that WGS's win in their semi-final was against the tougher opponent.
You saw there on your screens just a little bit earlier on as well, as we pan over the Contenders Cup. That is the grand prize right there, as well as being crowned Contenders Champion for Season 2. But there it is, 2-1, the overall score in Season 1. WGS had it over Runaway overall. But like I mentioned, when it actually counted, that is when Runaway got that victory. So yeah, we look at the semifinals now. We can really start debating which game was harder, which match was harder, I should probably say in this sort of case as well. You have to also consider that we've not seen groups A and B really face each other up until this point. So WGS had not played Element Mystic. Runaway had not played Talent Esports either. And our first time seeing what a Group A versus Group B kind of matchup does look like. And, well, one winner did come through from each side, and it did end up being that second seed, which maybe is a little bit of a surprise. Talon getting 0-3 was a bit of a surprise to me as well. I don't think they played fantastic. I don't think they played as well as they did in the regular season. They certainly, in my mind, didn't play to the specific strengths of their roster. WGS and Runaway, though, two teams that definitely have been. In Runaway, they played on a weak 0-2 blast, but Element Mystic, like you said, I don't believe they were necessarily weak in that semifinals. I do think, however, WGS outplayed them.
We can talk at great lengths about the sort of ifs and maybes of the past, both the immediate past and the distant past, but at the end of the day, the proof is going to be in the match that is played. And I said I wanted a long match. I really do hope we get one, and if we do get a long match, do make sure that you are watching it specifically on OverwatchContenders.com and link your Battle.net account. More hours watched means you are accruing time towards earning a skin, so you should be hoping that this is a long match too.
Yeah, you've got yourselves a Genji skin, Contenders icon, and spray already. If you want the Symmetra skin, make sure you watch for 7 hours. That is a cumulative. Obviously, if you watch before as well, if you watch any other Contenders, you might already be there. Otherwise, 15 hours for that Mercy skin, and then we'll have 2 new skins on rotation from that point onwards as well. Money on the line here, Matt. First place, 50 grand, 10,000 for the next. Quite a stark difference here, so you want to make sure you get the 50 Gs on the line here for the winning team, as well as the pride that comes with that one. We are still on the same patch, September 24th. That means Hog has been nerfed and then slightly rebuffed in terms of the hook distance as well. Ash does lose a little bit of damage on that Dynamite. Those are the key changes you want to be looking out for what we'll be seeing today.
And that, I think, is part of what we saw when we came into those semifinals, where suddenly teams that had done quite well seemed to just not quite be up to snuff, and these two teams are the teams that were. And that is why I often like to talk about this sort of tournament as being a marathon, not a sprint. It's not about how well you do in the heats. It's not about how well you do moment to moment, mile to mile. It's about how well you do across the whole thing. The regular season, the round robin format, the knockout format. If we're in a double elimination situation, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with longer series? How do you deal with patch changes? These are the two teams that have proved that more than any other team, they can deal with those things and do it with ease.
As we start heading into the game here as well, to recap on the format, it is, of course, best of, well, first of 4, best of 7, whichever one you like. First of all, technically, you do have to win 4 maps here in the grand finals to be able to crown yourselves the champions. The loser will be picking the map. You saw the map pool already. I do have confirmation that highest seed for picking first map is going to be WGS, so they will be selecting our opening control. Okay. And we'll go from there as well. So a lot of maps to get through. It's not going to be an easy day. No 4-0s today, I don't think. And you looked at where we were last season, grand finals as well. Certainly not a 4-0. We'll hear on your screen right now the flex tank on this team. Putting FaZe on the bench. He's been a big factor for Runaway, I think, this season as well, coming through big time on that Sigma. He knows what his job is, and here are his opponents, WGS Phoenix.
Z-Bag proven to be an adequate ringer so far for Oberon. But it is, I think, the difference. If there is one thing I wanted to highlight about this team, if I'm really looking to compare them to the other lineup on Runaway, and we'll see that lineup in a moment. Look, I think they're solid players all across the board. Names like Gabushi and Aztac speak for themselves. Ace, Valentine, also I'm37, they have proved themselves through and through, but Z-Bag is the newest entrant here to this team, and it's not so much that I'm worried about his performance, it's that he squares up against Mag.
Yeah.
That, I mean, I don't know that anyone truly measures up to Mag right now.
And let's look at this roster in a little bit more depth as well. You're talking about the subs here. I'm 37 on the bench, as is Enocast, and that is the other main tank on this roster. Expect Enocast to be coming in, to be playing a little bit of the Roadhog as well. I mean, one of them will be on the Roadhog. That's been kind of their MO so far. The other will be playing more of the standard main tanks here. What I can be confident in saying is Aztec versus Revenge is going to be a matchup to look out for. Potentially the decider between the number 1 and number 2 flex supports here. Aztec has been high on my list for some time, but Revenge has been chasing right up to that tail, so it is going to be a tough one. The DPS line has more depth on the WGS side of things. They have I'm37. They have the capabilities for some really strong double hit scan. You look at the Runaway side of things, it's just the 2 DPSs between Merit and Assassin. Some would say you only need Merit and Assassin, but that is one area where I think it's fairly even, but I will agree with you on this one. I think the Mag versus either Z-Bag or Enocast matchup is heavily Mag favored. Runaway can be very confident that at least in their main tank position, that is an overwhelming favorite.
Mag gonna eat up his opponent like he's eating that bagel. But I mean, look, looking across the board again, this is a roster that I think in many ways speaks for itself. I suppose the part of it we haven't actually talked about so much is you start to move a little bit further down the line there, and you got the likes of Chio. He's a very interesting player to me because I, like you, was reflecting on seasons past earlier today, and Chio has pulled off some absolutely incredible individual plays. But in this current meta, he hasn't really had that same opportunity to shine in that way. That being said, a lot of that shining happened specifically in the grand finals. And there is a part of me that looks at, now beyond Chio specifically, just at this roster as a whole. It's so often in these moments, in these grand finals, in these absolute clutch matches, that they go a level beyond. The plays become immense and almost godlike.
I think Chio coming through big time with the Brigida of last season was really strong. That was a very important role for the main support. Coming in as more so of a mercy play now for the current meta, and you know, Faith is going to be doing much of the same thing over on the WGS side of things. But yeah, the mercy role is going to be a very important one in terms of finding the resurrection timings, finding your ability to stay alive as well. You've got to be number one target. The room to play Lucio is also going to be quite interesting, and I do expect that on the WGS side of things as well, they're going to be running a little bit more Lucio. They got a little bit more of a deeper support line. You got Waffle in there as well. So both between Waffle and Faith, you're going to see the difference between a player coming in for the Lucio and another one coming in for the Mercy there as well. I expect that there won't otherwise be too many changes. I do want to see WGS move into the flexibility. You have a deeper roster. You're more willing to play to the depth of your roster as well. I'm not expecting a single substitution for Runaway today. Wuhel will be locked in. FaZe is not going to have a game unless Wuhel starts underperforming. I don't expect that to happen. And Runaway, the sights are locked in. They know who their opponents are. WGS waiting on the other side. It's time to do battle.
You see that long list, the potential 7 maps and even beyond. We start on Lijiang Tower. And better yet, we start on Control Center. This I always love because it's sometimes so left field in terms of what teams run. This is where teams can often throw each other for a loop, but I don't know that either of these teams actually have any tricks left in the bag. I think this is just going to be an honest brawl. It's also going to be a pause.
Well, there is going to be a trick in the bag. It'll come through in the form of Valentine's Junkrat. I think that could be a consideration. Yeah. Look, we did actually see a little bit of Junkrat in our semi-finals and our quarterfinals, so there is a non-zero chance that does indeed get picked on through. We know Valentine's a very capable projectile player, and this opening match as well, obviously we see that Ace and Valentine will be starting. There's not going to be I'm37. Do not expect I'm37 to be subbed in until we get to more of a map that favors the Widowmakers and the Ashes. You want to see him come out when we really do want to see the Snipers come into play. The I'm37 versus Merit matchup is going to be extremely important and one that I'll be looking forward to. But for this opening one, I think Valentine's going to be a very critical player for the side of WGS. He's got a pretty wide pool in terms of what he can play on the projectile side of things. Junkrat being one of them. It will end up being a Gambit. I do think they might try and pair the Symmetra with that as well, so see if that one comes through, and we'll see if Runaway have anything in this up in the sleeves to deal with that one, because I don't know that Runaway will try and match this Junkrat, but yeah, they'll need to deal with it in some cases anyway.
I always find, like I was kind of saying, I always find Control Center is the interesting one because it's often kind of the odd one out, the ugly duckling. It's where we see the most brawly compositions compared to the other two stages of Lijiang Tower. It's why I'm kind of keen to see it first, because like this is always kind of the wild card one. This is one where a team can just kind of pick it up because they've got something solid in the back pocket that the other team can't quite match. Then you move on after that to something more like Night Market or Gardens, and then it starts to become more of a case of like, hey, may the best team win if you're just both playing relatively the same, or rather, both playing the meta, whether or not that's exactly the same composition, right? It's always kind of has the potential to throw a wrench in the works, I think.
And I think what you'll see on stuff like Night Market and Gardens, especially on Gardens, is maybe the possibility for the Fires to come on through. The Echoes are definitely in that pool as well. I don't know if teams will be confident enough to bring it out for them. We have certainly seen Gardens where teams still shy away from that one, but you have a very capable Fire player on both ends, and Assassin for Runaway, Valentine for WGS as well. Both of these players have been very, very keen to bring out the Fire when possible. Assassin even going as far as considering the Genji. That is going to be the key flex pick for Assassin to look out for in this grand final today, when Assassin decides to pull out the Genji, when and if that does come out, what it does look like, because it was deadly. It put down a lot of good teams, put Talon to the ground, put O2 Blast to the ground as well, and both of those teams were unequipped to deal with Assassin on the Genji.
And that's one thing I like to think WGS would have prepared for. In general, I think both of these teams, I mean, at this point in time, not only did they have the couple of weeks break between the end of the regular season and the start of the playoffs to scout each other out, again, like you said, these teams haven't played each other before. They were on opposite sides of the groups entirely, but they would have scouted each other out. I can guarantee you that. And then especially in the last week as well, there would have been that extra level of scouting and actually analyzing how the other team plays, what compositions they can run, what picks they might have in the pocket, how they like to play them, how to shut them down, obviously being the consequence of all of the examining and all of the learning there is figuring out how to beat it. And that to me says we're going to have an interesting match. It's also why I'm, again, going back to this being on Control Center, it's why I'm quite looking forward to that. Because again, this is where you would have seen those pocket picks come out on these teams before. I think both of these teams actually played Lijiang Tower at some point during the semifinals and quarterfinals.
Yeah, I'll be able to get that stat in just a second when we get back into game, and the countdown has started. 8 seconds between the gates before the gates open. Rather, the grand finals map number 1 is about to start now. We commence WGS Phoenix versus Runaway, Lijiang Tower Control Center. Let's get it on.
If you weren't excited yet, get excited now. And if you don't know how, listen, watch, observe as both teams square up. WGS, they are committing to the junk, right? They're going to pull out a Reaper as well. They are looking poised to brawl. They're going to dial it back. Runaway's going, they're leaning hard into a Doomfist and a Tracer, and WGS Phoenix are immediately going to pull back and change their team comp.
So I can confirm that WGS did beat EM on Lijiang Tower 2-1. EM being Element Mystic there, so we have that to look forward to in terms of results and expectations here. Runaway, like you said, Assassin bringing the Doom out early, but the cap has not gone through, and WGS are contesting in time.
Yeah, nice timing there. Assassin already dropping on the front line. You saw Ace actually wrapped around the back and had a hack on Revenge as the fight broke out, which meant no bio grenade could come out to save Assassin. So really nicely done there. The timing's nice and crisp. Runaway are going to get a few moments of point cap there, but Wu Yao going down to his own right click after killing Ace means that this will actually eventually fall the way of WGS Phoenix. Runaway just kind of stealing a few percentage points.
Excellent timing by WGS not to let too much cap percentage go the way of Runaway too early on. We're now going to be changing over, namely Assassin coming through onto the Sombra as well to try and match Ace, who's very far ahead at this stage of the game, 64%. We'll be expecting a fast EMP to follow through next fight, and Aztec as well, close to the coalescence.
Mag sticking on the Wrecking Ball is interesting to me, but my eye is definitely on Merit. There's a lot of prime targets that he could scoop up here, and also eyes on Aztec as well. Known to charge ultimates fast, obviously. Being in an asymmetric matchup, that's a bit of a different bag here, but nearly sneaked out the cap. Runaway Pulse Bomb just kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and both teams just scrapping.
Coalescence Rush will be coming on through very quickly. That's 1 kill already. Tanks are fairly low for WGS, but they are alive, and Aztec doesn't even need to ult yet.
This is about to be a very cheap fight for WGS. Just getting that catch on Revenge. He was just sort of caught off to the side, trying to stay close enough in with people to heal them up successfully, keeping presence around the points, and in the end, it just left him a little bit too vulnerable. Z-Bag was able to dive on him, finish him off, and Runaway getting picked apart there without WGS Phoenix even using a single ultimate is pretty intense.
And this is very trademark at WGS as well. They're the type of team that will try and hold on to ultimates if possible. They want to be ahead in the economy. They want to make sure they're putting their opponents into a really awkward spot. 67% Mag has used the minefield, and WGS have chosen to coalesce.
Starting it off nice and slow, nice and simple. Also, didn't even point out, but Chia was actually on the Brigida, one thing we said he was particularly good on, but not able to cancel that. EMP catches the back line as well. Critical thing is that leaves Revenge a sitting duck, and now Valentine getting deep into the back line as well, softening everything up so they can scoop up and clean off the rest of the kills. Z-Bag even committing a primal raid. So they do dig in deep and lean on all those ultimates they had banked up. Nice catch there on the backside of that by Merit, but it's a consolation prize. We're at 95% already.
That's actually an important kill though, because Runaway are here to contest. Yes, 98% and counting. Assassin will confirm the OT. EMP available. We need to see Z-Bag back for WGS to be able to contest this one properly.
Wu Yao just got back in his mech without having to go all the way back to spawn. Was just sort of hanging off to the side. It's critical that he was able to accomplish that. Faith is also in an awkward spot here where he's got to try and wait out that EMP. Z-Bag going down to Merit. They're just keeping pressure on. Even Valentine has stayed low, and Runaway, they're becoming an overwhelming force here. Really riding that timing critically. Regrouping before WGS Phoenix could, keeping at least one person a bit too excuse me, a bit too low at all times, stopping WGS Phoenix from truly contesting that.
A difficult space for Faith to play in as well, receiving a lot of pressure coming through from Mag. Doesn't want to use the sound barrier too early. Will get cancelled out by the EMP being held by Assassin.
There he
Here
goes.
Catches 3, including Faith.
Yeah, nicely done. Didn't catch Aztec though, so he's having to pop a Coalescence, and Merit, feeling the heat, has to back out. Valentine runs him down. Man advantage now for WGS Phoenix, and now Faith doesn't have to worry about that EMP. He can commit this freely. He's going to be able to help Valentine, give him a bit of health in that. Revenge has a Transcendence, but it doesn't save Assassin. Ace may be low, but again, WGS still a man advantage here, but where are the kills going to come from? Revenge corralled off to the side, goes down alongside Chio, and now Merit in trouble. Mag trying to hold down the fort with a minefield, but that's not even on the point itself, and WGS Phoenix getting back on, getting the cap back in their favor. 99% ticking down, with Runaway still reinforcing, and another Coalescence in the pocket for Aztec. It's looking like curtains.
We'll need to see where the kills come through. Mag goes down super early. Chio can't keep him alive. Wukiao nearly on the self-destruct as well. Merit could land a pulse bomb, but Runaway need to do a lot, and they don't have a lot left.
No self-destruct when you are EMP'd like that, Wuya. Oh, he's going to be able to get it off just barely. Nicely done. Merit even with the pulse bomb, but nothing quite lands, and WGS Phoenix are able to close it out. Runaway, they had a proper go at that, I've got to say, but at the end of the day, I think WGS Phoenix kind of just had that under control, pun definitely intended. And a curious thing about that as well is we actually didn't see those super wacky team comps. I think the wackiest thing there was actually a Brigida.
Wrecking Ball coming through from Mag as well. A few question marks, you do have to say, playing that one into a Sombra is never going to be easy. And for Runaway, I think you have to look at that opening fight. Yes, they came in with, you would say, the compositional advantage very quickly. WGS walked away, knowing the Junkrat was going to play well into the Doomfist. But when they did come back, they made that decision very quick step. WGS changed comps, coming back, instantly contested that point, and did not allow Runaway to get too much of momentum going their way in terms of point cap. And now that we do move into Gardens, no Farah today. It will still be the Lucio and Moria brawl come from WGS, both Mag and Zabag going on the Wrecking Balls.
Runaway actually get the faster rotation to the point. Part of that's helped by the fact that they've got Assassin on a slightly more mobile DPS. The fight's barely broken out, and Chio's already got a bump on Z-Bag, taking him off the map. Now Valentine down, and Chio sticking to this Brigida is an interesting call, but his impact is being felt.
Well, it's certainly going to do well against WGS's composition. You have to think about where does Brigida play well into. If you're going up against a specific brawl that WGS is going to be running, they want to dive at you, they want to run at you, they want to play close. Valentine knows that as well. He's actually swapping over to the Tracer, which traditionally isn't really good into the Brigida, but feeling pretty confident about it. Does want to play the Reap into it, certainly. And Chio doing enough damage, doing enough healing, nearly on that rally.
I almost feel like Valentine is actually just looking to match Assassin there, because we did see him getting the rundown on Assassin several times in the Tracer 1v1 back on Control Center, and I feel like that's a non-significant part of it. Now Mag getting brought low, able to get a chunk of shield, but between him and Wuya both feeling the heat, they desperately need something like that rally to come up. Transcendence comes available and is popped instantaneously, recognizing the need to keep those tanks alive. It's a 1-for-1 trade as Z-Bag goes down, but Wuya is D-Max. Now eyes on someone like Valentine. If he gets a good pulse bomb off, that could be it, but equally so. No, gets cancelled out. Now Merit having himself an EMP, looking to maybe close this fight out, looking to maybe even conserve it if they don't need to. They're just holding on to this point, and WGS Phoenix struggling to make headway.
We're back into the same zone we were earlier. Now it's going to be Faith versus Merit in terms of sound barrier to cancel out the EMP, or vice versa, depending on who uses first. Runaway, they're looking comfortable, 60% now. They don't have defense versus Ace, so that's going to be the opening. Which Sombra pulls the trigger first? Which one pulls second? I do have to favor WGS in this fight, but if they do lose this fight, WGS are in major trouble.
Ace and Merit. It's a proper head-to-head here, and Chio has got eyes on him. Yeah, Ace knows he can't go for that one with Chio right there, and that gives Mag a window. Pops the minefield on the point. Merit's still hanging around, has an EMP so far, haven't even needed to do it. Runaway are doing such a good job of clinically picking a tank off right at the top of a fight, just breaking the thumb of WGS Phoenix. And Ace even blew an EMP after the tanks were dead in that fight.
Yeah, this one's done for sure. Runaway have got it. It might not be 100 as 0. It might actually be 100 as 0. You have to consider that
like
WGS don't have a lot left in terms of members. That one is going to go the way of Runaway convincingly right from the get-go. You mentioned Runaway got there faster. They got that first fight as well. You start to look at what happens from 40% onwards, from 50% onwards as well. Both teams looking towards the EMP. Faith has the sound barrier, doesn't find an opportunity to use that one. Ace gets caught out, has to translocate away, is not able to put an EMP down on most of the Runaway members, and then a fight is over. You lose Gableshire, you lose their bag, Ace then EMPs anyway, and it's all done. We're here into Night Market now, the decider for map 1.
Is this the spice now? Are we just going to a Brigida meta? Faith is looking to pick the same thing as Chio. Now, look, I was actually about to start talking about how Chio is playing and what he's doing, the way he is actually able to disrupt what those dive tanks are trying to do, being able to stun them, being able to knock them back with the whip shot, and it looks like Faith is just going to try and match that outright. They're going to see if they can more or less mirror. Main difference here is Valentine on the Echo, because you have that aerial option.
Valentine isn't going to get pocketed, though. He will get pocketed by Faith, I lie. I mean, it's not going to be as effective as a Mercy, but you'll take the second best here. I do expect Valentine to be able to do some damage. His focus will come through on towards the tanks. There is not going to be a Tracer. Early hack coming on in.
Yeah, was she just getting assailed from all sides for a second there, but Z-Bag has been lying in wait to run interference so that Runaway don't just get a free rotation to the point. Now, WGS Phoenix ready to move in and contest.
Revenge!
Dude, Z-Bag taking the damage, taking the heat, and like you said, Revenge getting dangerously low. This is a really asymmetric brawl in terms of where teams are actually positioning. Only now is it finally moving towards the point. Valentine hacked out, but he's able to stay alive as Revenge and Aztec both get traded out. As I say that as well, Valentine goes down. The trades continue to come through, but they're just barely favoring Runaway as now it's just down to Ace. But there's so many low members on Runaway, you've got to believe that these tanks of WGS Phoenix could be cleaning up house, especially with the supports dead, but they're just unable to lock them down, and instead, the damage comes in, deconstructs Gableshire as those TS Phoenix don't have a clear path to victory aside from just out-fragging. They're getting it done.
Merit's super low here, not going to be able to EMP. I was just going to really credit Merit for that previous fight as well, but that previous fight goes long. It goes so long that WGS are going to be able to get all their respawners in. Merit had the EMP first, doesn't get a chance to use that one. Both teams had lost both supports. It came down to 2 tanks, 2 DPSs versus their counterparts, and Runaway looked like they were winning until Valentine got back in action.
Oh, watch as Faith sniffs this out. They didn't quite catch Merit there, but they know he's nearby. It's actually EMP out from Ace first. Revenge quick on the counter. Merit decides not to go for it. Runaway just on the cap. WGS kind of hanging off to the side there. Not defending their territory so much. Now as the brawl breaks out, Aztec down early in the bout is a dangerous sign. WGS Phoenix don't have a lot to work with aside from Valentine's duplicate, but I gotta say, if anyone could do it, it feels like Valentine could. He's been the one fragging out. He is a big part of what actually won the earlier protracted engagement, but he's got an uphill battle here, having to swap now to a Wrecking Ball just to keep tank presence on the point, because Gableshire is dangerously low on the cusp of being demech'd. They do get the cap again, but it falls back the way of Runaway so soon after, and it feels like WGS Phoenix are constantly fighting at their limit.
And Valentine nearly won that one. I do have to start imagining, what if he went on something other than the Wrecking Ball? Could he have possibly died, but could he have also gotten some more kills? Wrecking Ball's not going to be able to do too much on his own there in terms of what Valentine's able to put out. There we go, though, Runaway. Still in this one for now. They do lose Rukel, Mag down as well, and that could actually be the point over again.
Yeah, that's so huge. Mag tried to keep someone in line at the self-destruct, but Wuyal not able to get back in the mech, and then you saw Faith was like, I'm just going to stun Mag. Suddenly the dudes are sitting ducks surrounded by WGS Phoenix members, and they're just able to walk it on.
Valentine's still here. Got a late frag there as well. That's going to really help out the WGS effort to try and catch up in terms of percentage. Speaking of catching up here, you do see that Merit's just a little bit far behind than Ace, but he'll get his EMP in time. The more notable one is that Aztec doesn't quite have Transcendence. Revenge does. So when the EMP wars start, again, expect Revenge to be ready to go. Aztec down.
Brutal. Merit and Assassin, the 1-2 punch. Merit does it, the duck back out, but the damage, I dare say, has been done with Faith dead as well. Mag barrels over to the point. They know they can go for a cap here. WGS Phoenix, the right call here is to back out, wait for the respawns, but no, Z-Bag's going in. They're trying to push the percentage up. This is a dangerous game. He stayed alive for an incredibly long time, but what's the win condition there? All that's going to happen now is they'll down the point, they'll feed Runaway ultimates, and they'll run out of time to respawn. Why would you not just wait?
Well, they do have now the opportunity to ult here. Valentine, he's coming back, but Ace and Aztec have already pulled the trigger. 2 kills quickly.
This has got to do it, but Merit is still holding on to his own EMP still. Assassin down. Okay, Merit can't go for this one yet. It would be far too dangerous. Certainly he's not quite that brave. WGS Phoenix, I think they made that harder for themselves than they needed to be, but it worked in the end.
Well, they did have to throw the kitchen sink there. Notice that Aztec had to use his ultimate just to try and contest there, keep himself alive as well. He was nearly down. Both Revenge and Merit do have ults available. They should be looking to use everything this fight. Runaway are in a great position to win this final engagement. 99 to 99 about to come on up. Who will Valentine duplicate?
Goes for Brigida. I like this. They're trying to get a quick rally and had the extra crowd control, but unfortunately Aztec already popped Valentine back out of that transformation and not really fragging out. The damage is not yet being done here. Z-Bag eating some heat.
Bench down.
Does take revenge off, and that was a critical ultimate. Trades his own life now for Wu Yal's mech, and double 99 to 99. Eyes on who's going to frag. Faith in with a rally is critical in terms of timing, and that armor could be a difference maker. Gabushi getting D-mech though, and Aztec popped as well. Where's it going to come from, if anywhere? Runaway are back in control. They got the members on, and so many members falling off the map on the side of WGS Phoenix. They made it close, but at the end of the day, the critical fight came, and they were all out of gas.
Bag tried his best there. Knocks Revenge off the map, takes the Transcendence off the table. You have an opening here. You need Valentine to frag card. Yes, he couldn't quite get it done on the Brigida duplicate. That goes back into the normal Echo form, but couldn't find the damage, couldn't find the frags. There was the opportunity. That was the only way for them to come back in. Notice in the other fights as well, when WGS are losing, Valentine's pulling them back into the game off the back of the Echo as well. If they lose their main support in terms of Faith coming through on that Brigida, that's the pocket healing gone. That's when things get dangerous. Let's look back at the early fights as well. There was a very early fight where you had Valentine getting hacked out by Merit. That was that one long protracted fight where I really wanted to credit Merit for getting things started. He gets a manual hack onto the Echo. That's a key target. That is the one thing as the Echo that you cannot have happen to you, because unless you get hacked on EMP, you're safe. No one can target you. No one can take you down, and you're free firing, you're free shooting, you're damaging, you're killing, and that is exactly what Valentine does, unless he gets hacked out, which he did get a couple times.
That was pretty wild. There is that one fight that I still want to revisit. The penultimate fight there where you saw both supports on the side of WGS Phoenix go down, and they were in a position where the remaining four could have backed out. Runaway would have got the cap. They were only on 86%. There's enough time to wait for the respawn, come back in. Ultimates were relatively even, if even a little bit favored for WGS. Instead, they went in with the 4, and they basically paid a numbers disadvantage by using more ultimates than Runaway. They ended up winning that fight. They got the point. The problem is, in the subsequent fight, the one that decided it, I think they gave themselves a bit of an insurmountable climb. Runaway just had too much at their disposal.
Here's what I can say. Here's what the bone I'm going to throw towards WGS here. They were playing towards the overall win condition of saying, look, if we give up the point, we don't try and get some percentage in there, even if we do recap there, and we're going to have to make a bit of a climb to come back in there. They wanted to make sure the gap was closed as much as possible. They were trying to min-max their fight as much as possible. I respect that. I think you need to be playing towards a win condition. I think you need to be playing towards a potential win. That's what WGS tried to do. They fell short briefly there, 99 to 99 to end things up for map 1.
Such a close start, though, overall. The 2-1, certainly not easy either way, but this is only the first chapter. The remainder of the story is still to be writ, and the next chapter kicks up right after this break.
no way they know what we hold. If they did, the whole world would explode. They tried to tame us, ain't no way, no how. Domesticate us, but can't keep a good woman down. She's the one that you're gonna wanna have around. Ain't nobody roll the dice quite like me. There be no place that you'd rather be. I'm the queen of your heart, can't you see? Stick with me, we'll be winning. Ooh, ooh, it's in the way we moving. Ooh, 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 let's show 'em how we do it. Back it up, baby. Work like a boss, baby. Act like a lady. Classy and crazy. Back it up, stack it up, look me lady. No hesitating, you're in or you're out. She'll make her way out of town if you're dragging her down. You're the one she will never, ever have around. Now that's me freak, no one does it like me. There be no place that you'd rather be. I'm the queen of your heart, can't you see? Stick with me, we'll be winning. Back it up, baby. Work like a boss, baby. Act like a lady. Classy and crazy. Back it up, stack it up, look me lady. Back it up, baby.
Back it up, baby. We've still got a long way to go. That might have been an explosive and intense start to the series, but I mean, even if it's Runaway just sweeping through, there's still 3 more games to go. And if they're all that fraught, I expect we're in for a treat.
One map a Contenders champion does not make. Yes, you better back it up if you think you've already seen a winner come on through. A very closely fought Legion Tower to open things up for our grand finals. WGS is the losing team, and map 1 will be the chooser of the next map as well. They will be picking for our hybrid, I believe, as we start moving forward. WGS, I mean, it's a close one. What I'm going to be mostly looking out for this one is substitutions. Will they be bringing in a Waffle? They bring in Enocast. What's I'm37 doing currently as well? Those are the 3 people you have to start looking out for on the WGS side of things. It tells you a lot of information about what WGS are looking towards in terms of playing their next map. Do they want to play the Roadhog? There's Enocast. Do they want to play Mercy? Put a Waffle on. Are they going to play playing a Sniper? That's where I'm37 comes in.
Certainly they've got that depth. I don't believe we've seen any substitutions yet, or at least we don't know about any if they have taken place. I want to highlight something real quick. This is really just me sharing a personal opinion, but I'm enjoying the Brigaders. I'm sticking to that.
Said no one ever.
I'm genuinely enjoying it.
Like
partially,
the most hated
partially
hero
because,
of all
partially
Overwatch history, even
because,
more so than Sombra. That's saying a lot.
Fine. That's fine. I mean, some people are just lesser. But if you, for real, like I partially.
It's
because,
different. I'll give you that.
Partially because I had talked about. See, I can't remember the guy's name now. This is what you've done to me. Partially because I talked about Chio's Brigada specifically just prior to this. Like, I genuinely didn't expect to see him on it, and I'm kind of glad that we are seeing him on it. And then the wacky thing to me is that WGS Phoenix were like, I guess we should just match it, right?
And it was smart because they were wanting to play the Echo anyway, and this is where, look, the Brigada has double value in terms of you'll match Chio, but you'll also provide some much-needed pocket healing over towards what will be your main character. Now, do I think Mercy would have done a better job? 100%. You would have seen way more value out of the Echo coming through from Valentine had there been a Mercy. However, Faith isn't their Mercy play. I'm sure Faith can just jump on if he feels like it, but Waffle is the guy you bring in when you really want to start running the Mercy full-time, and that's your serious business game plan. But looking towards WGS, I think they made decent substitutions in terms of what they were doing for the composition. Looking towards Runaway, I'm glad to see there's some depth in the hero pools as well. And look, we already knew Chio could play the Brigada, so I'm not talking about depth in terms of what he can play, but depth in terms of what they're willing to bring out in this current climate, in this current meta, when Genji isn't meta, when Brigada isn't meta, and yet Runaway will still play them and make them succeed.
So this is where I am expecting to actually see some substitutions as soon as we get into the map, because WGS Phoenix have picked Temple of Anubis.
Yeah.
I am expecting some snipers to come out here. I am expecting them to lean in to that flexibility. I would not at all be surprised to see both I'm 37 and Waffle in. It's not guaranteed, but certainly wouldn't surprise me. And actually, they're sticking with the same lineup. That, if anything, is more interesting to me than if they'd made substitutions.
So Chio's already gone over to Mercy as well. And by the way, Elida, it is going to be Assault, not Hybrid, that will come up through later. But what I can tell you right now that is the absolute truth is that Runaway did beat Talon 1-0 on Temple of Anubis in the semi-finals, which means they completely full held and they just completely blasted them. That is a dangerous map to potentially face Runaway on. However, what I can also say about this is, I mean, you have that info work in your favor as well. WGS did not play Temple of Anubis in their semi-final.
Certainly you got to feel confident in your picking this against Runaway based on that result against Talon, but you pick a map because you think you're good at it. Not because you're trying to avoid what you think your opponent is good at.
WGS did pick it versus, well, they did get to play it versus BM. That was a 2-1 result, so they definitely know what they're doing on this map. And it is going to be Valentine starting things out very quickly on towards the Echo, looking at 27% there. He's going to be the leader in terms of ult charge on his team. We're holding on the other side, though. D.Va leading the way, 38. Not every day you see a D.Va be doing that.
Yeah, wild. I always have my eye on Aztec and his counterpart for the Revenge in terms of the ult charge. Right now, I need to have my eye on Z-Bag going in. The counter dive, seeing the pressure, kind of mounting, but it's actually Valentine who goes down. He trades 1-for-1, but that's when the Mercy kicks in, and that's such a difference maker. WGS Phoenix rolling out with Faith on the Brigida, starting to cost them a little bit there. One man down while they wait for Valentine to get back. Runaway, vice grip, still there.
It's a minute 10 so far. No real good momentum coming through from WGS. We're talking about Revenge versus Aztec. Well, there it is. Transcendence up and available. Do they want to go for timing? Because at the same time, Assassin is also looking at 70%. Nice fat dynamite coming through from Merit. We'll get the Bob available and then...
Oh, Gebushi is immediately demaxed, and Aztec too late on the draw with the Transcendence. That's a heartbreaker. Gebushi even died to a headshot and among all that. They at least trade that out for Mag, but they need to get so much more done now. Ace has got to make his presence
That's good.
known. Valentine picks up another, and that's a solid other when you consider that's Assassin just on the cusp of a Dragon Blade. Gio is going to go for a res on that, and Aztec gets beheaded. Well, it's all playing out. Now Assassin immediately comes and slices Valentine out of the skies, and it feels like WGS Phoenix keep getting themselves disrupted. Every time they look like they're gearing up to go for something, Runaway focus fire, and they knock someone out before WGS Phoenix can get started.
An Assassin gets to freely blade now. There's no counter on the other end. I mean, Faith will be there. Obviously, this is part of why Brigida exists on this map for WGS, but the main one, Transcendence gone. We saw Aztec use that one in the previous fight. Didn't really give WGS any real purchase. Faith is going to be available for the double value. I mean, you want to be pocket healing Valentine on the Echo, but then Shield Bash stun, the rally armor, all of that extra is going to be valuable versus Assassin's Dragon Blade, which is going to be imminent, should be used this fight.
And to cap that off, you got things like Mag, Primal Rage, self-destruct, like you were saying, and WGS Phoenix don't really have a lot of their own. Valentine with a duplicate could pull something out. Curious to see what he'll go for. I wouldn't be surprised if it just ends up being another Winston, but Z-Bag looking to get something going on with the minefield down as Assassin pulls the blade out. There's that rally, and Assassin's got nothing done, has to duck for cover, doesn't accomplish anything at slow value, and now Revenge gets popped. Nice dive, nice catch, and they drill down Chio. No reses available, single life only for Runaway. Mag does it, the Primal Rage running, but Wuyal doesn't have the same kind of health pool here, doesn't have that sort of ultimate available. Merit pops off, and WGS Phoenix look like they're slowly but surely, inexorably moving towards capping this point.
Even a duplicate being thrown in there for good measure. Perhaps Valentine's thinking about changing onto another hero for B, just want to get that duplication out of there. But after getting Assassin down, that is a key target there. They not only survive the Dragon Blade, but they can entirely just neuter it as well. It had zero effect there. Everyone in WGS just pile around Faith, the Brigida player, just to try and stay alive. They try and stay safe there as well. That did a lot of work, but Aztec now with the double walking on to B. He's insane.
Dude, just nails, outflanks the flanker, then smacks Revenge. That is unbelievable. And now Mag down, 3-man advantage. WGS Phoenix have just kicked down the door, and they rammed it down with a battering ram. Mag gets the res delivered to him, but Wuyal demech by a pulse bomb. WGS Phoenix need to be sure to keep these members alive. Z-Bag unfortunately does go down to the bomb. Ace as well, and it's starting to fall apart. Are you kidding me? Too busy brawling around the sides, not spending enough time securing the back flank, dealing with Merit, dealing with the Bob, getting progress on the point, dollar bills in the eyes, but their hands were not in the till.
Well, they couldn't really get too much done at that point. They tried to get those kills, and unfortunately couldn't clean things up. You did see Ace's Pulse Bomb go wide on the primary target of Merit there, but does accidentally get a DMAC into Ugal, so you get a little bit extra out of that one. Ace unfortunately going down super early there as well. Aztec even gets one on his way out as killing Merit before he dies. So WGS, decent start. We do also talk about the fact that Valentine used the duplicate on A. And I thought, look, if you're going to be changing over to something else for B, that makes sense. But now that seems like an overcommitment for their A. The duplicate could have been very big for their B push.
Assassin just having a brawl, covered in the pulse bomb, chucks it out, sticks Aztec. Aztec walks it into Ace. This push is over before it begins. And this is where I think the alarm bells have to start ringing. If WGS Phoenix could walk in with a 3-man advantage and not even walk away with a third accrued, and then they lose 2 people on the approach on a single pulse bomb, I start to worry about their ability to cap B.
I'm going to be honest about that first attack going through. Killing 3 people, then going for the survivors is not a bad idea. You want to keep your player advantage in. If you allow those 3 to walk away, give away a couple of ticks, but then they come back with 6, it's not ideal. Now, unfortunately, they got dealt the raw hand of that, in which they didn't get any camp done. They then couldn't get the kills either, so sadly, Runaway, or sadly for WGS's case, Runaway do get to have their cake and eat it too, and now a lot of ultimates play with them this following fight. WGS will be able to match, so they're coming into plenty of their own, nearly 6 actually.
This is going to be the critical push for WGS Phoenix, where they've got so much available, but they need to get the kills to back it up, and Runaway have all the right tools to just hold out, hang around, be a nuisance on the point, and prevent WGS Phoenix from gaining anything. Z-Bag going in deep to pop a minefield down and having to duck back out because the slow was rough, but they have at least got the first kill here in finding Assassin. Gamushi may be able to remake here. Smag is trying to put the backline pressure down. Now eyes on Ace, takes some hits, but waiting for the healing. Has a pulse bomb, but can't do anything just yet. Now Aztec sees that Mag is looking to suffocate things up. They get aggressive. Duplicate on a Diva. And I like this. I like the pressure, the space, and the extra tankiness it creates. But it's actually Faith who goes down in this push. And with Revenge running his own Transcendence, it was hard to get any kills. Once that's run out, they start to get a few. But WGS Phoenix have lost the 2 most critical members. They've lost the supports. That means Gamushi takes a pulse bomb. He can't heal that back off. They're on the skin of their teeth right now. And Runaway bite down. WGS Phoenix not going to get anything done on that final most critical push. No percentage, nothing accrued on point B. Best case scenario, a full hold on A. That's a long shot. Second best case scenario, full hold B and take it to a draw.
And Runaway proving how proficient they are at staying alive, keeping the cap alive as well, not allowing 1 tick to get through. Runaway have been losing members. They are dying here. Valentine's picking up kills. Ace is picking up kills. We saw Aztec get a 3K on his way in. And for WGS as well, a 2K, and then another play got the 3rd kill. In either case, WGS are walking into these fights with advantages most times. I mean, sure, they did get double pulse bomb by Assassin at one time as well, but you look at the fights that do look somewhat successful for WGS, and you do expect that maybe a tick should come on through. Some sort of result should come on through. I'm starting to not really like the pick of Brigida coming through for Fate.
Yeah.
Earlier on, we were trying to counter Assassin on the Genji while trying to pocket Valentine on the Echo. That makes sense. When Assassin moves over to the Tracer, I don't know that Brigida comes through with the same value. Yes, we'll go back to, you know, Brigida on release. We'll go back to Brigida even when Goats was meta. Brigida counters Tracer. Brigida pushed Tracer out of the meta. Yes, we all get that part. However, I don't think Brigida in its current form and where she currently sits in the meta is going to be good enough, is valuable enough to be really trying to counter the enemy Tracer, when what you need to be doing is pocketing your Echo a little bit harder to get that one. If you pocket Valentine harder, instead of thinking about how much you could potentially counter Assassin, that would get you the win.
I also want to note, I mean, you're also seeing some of the difference there in the tanks. The quick rescue healing you can get when someone like Z-Bag got extremely low. The Mercy can switch attention to them, top them off in an absolute split, right? But the Brigida, I mean, you can get a bit of burst healing, sure, but you can't quite get that straight up massive single target that you might mean someone lives in a pinch that you get out of a Mercy.
Let's also consider the fact that damage boost being coming through from the Mercy plus Discord all coming through from the Zenyatta. That's a double damage boost. That's super valuable. That is going to get Runaway a lot more damage done. Mirror now onto the
Z-Bag
coming through for this opening.
And you're seeing the danger there, right? Z-Bag goes in, runs some disruption. Meanwhile, the counter dive can come in, and that's the thing. Runaway don't have to put as many resources in, right? They can just damage through someone, Discord Z-Bag. He has to pull back before he can disrupt too much. The rest of Runaway go in for a counter dive, and they're getting so much done. And like you said, WGS have at this point lost too many. Aztec, he's alive, but he is respawned. He is not actually in this fight. I said best case scenario was a full hold. We're approaching the second best case scenario where WGS need a full hold B and take this to a draw, or they're going to find themselves at a significant disadvantage.
And at this rate in time, WGS need to consider maybe going for A, but they're too far away. Their players don't respawn in time. They have to go for the draw now, like you said. Just a pulse bomb in hand as well. You can see how aggressive WGS was there, trying to hold on to the choke, trying to get really aggressive, versus Runaway, stop them from rotating properly. Valentine chasing after Merit, so does Gableshe, but too many players got punished. Runaway so good at receiving aggression and then punishing those aggressors. As Runaway now push forward. They do lose a play early, but the res should be available.
Okay, that is a nice pickup, but yeah, there is that res. WGS need to respect that counter dive. Nice find on Mag, that's critical. Valentine running disrupt. This is a dangerous way for WGS to play, I've got to say, but they are charging up ultimates off it, and that is what is maybe going to set them up for the long haul. It's this next one that I really have my eye on, though, because this is the one where Runaway are going to commit the ultimates they've banked up. If WGS Phoenix can survive this, then they maybe have a shot.
Runaway have time to play with here as well. They can go for this ultimate fight. They can lose and come back pretty strong as well in terms of waiting to find the advantage again, waiting to find the ring of ultimates again for further fights. I mean, this could go down to overtime. Surely that wouldn't be very comfortable to Runaway, but they only need one tick, so you can play the long game here. You can allow Merit to wait. You can allow Merit to find that opening kill and then go in, and there is no mercy for WGS, which means no res.
Having the mercy on the attack is so nice as well. The second one it can provide. Z-Bag, what's the plan? He's thrown down a minefield in the middle of nowhere. It's not where the other team is. They clear it out with the Transcendence, and he's so exposed. Z-Bag has struggled on this Wrecking Ball because he can't run interference without getting himself so low that he has to back out of the fight, and WGS then struggle to top him back off. Oof, looks like we might have a little bit of a situation going on here. Oh my goodness. I hope when we come back it's not just like Runaway wins. I mean, we could figure out how it happens, but I want to see it.
You had the referee throw in the card there, the flag or whatever it is in there for a bit of a game stoppage. We'll get back into action fairly soon. I mean, there is a real case where we do go back and Runaway have just one. Again, they only need the one tick there. This is a fight that is, you know, from what we can gather in the last couple of frames there, seems fairly even on the outset. Valentine just duplicates over to the Widowmaker. Not the best duplication, if I'm going to be honest. Ideally, you want him to be on something like the Tracer, get really quick pulse bombs. You can get like 2 to 3 pulse bombs if you play that situation extremely well. WGS have a couple of stall tools there as well. Gableshe on the self-destruct can make things a little bit slower. And it depends. I mean, do Runaway lose players on the approach? You can see that Chiro was on half HP. They're discorded as well. If they lose their Mercy, that could be the push over. So, real potential for this one to extend further.
We've got a few frames ahead, so we have extended a little further. And I mean, this is where I start expecting WGS Phoenix to... Oh, hold on, we're back. We're back in action. My goodness, look at that. Gableshe has already found Mag in this particular instance, so there we go. The measure has been made. WGS Phoenix were able to hold out on that last one, and now continuing to pick apart Runaway. So work is getting done here, and it seems WGS Phoenix doing a good job of leaning into the respawn advantage where necessary.
Merit's also changed over to the Ashe, by the way, and the Ashe is going to be better in the long run just for contesting point. You need the Bob for that one. Widowmaker, unfortunately, wasn't good enough. So Merit not finding the shots. I mean, I do respect the Widowmaker because you put a lot more pressure onto Valentine. Get that major echo out of the way. That is going to help your attacking effort by quite a lot. So they're not going to be able to have that, but what they will have is a little bit more consistency for future fights. Future fights will come in, hopefully, the near future areas. Unfortunately, a couple of technical issues are plaguing the broadcast at the moment. But what we can say is that WGS have done a good job holding them. I think the worst has gotten past them. That doesn't mean they can necessarily continue holding for another 2.5 minutes. But if you can hold this far already and you get past the phase where Runaway came in with 5 ultimates, then the rest of it should be easier than that.
I think we might be getting it back in just a second. But obviously the other thing to not discount is Runaway is one of those teams that sometimes just pops off. They pick up 2 kills, 3 kills, they frag out, they close things out quick, smart, and with absolutely no delay. I think we should be able to drop back over to the match in just a second. And we saw prior to this, by the way, Assassin went down and got resurrected. So he's on his last life right now. Wu Yao getting Z-Max there, able to commit a self-destruct. Gableshe.
Where's Aztec?
Match that, nicely done. Aztec needs to come in. with this Transcendence. They can't play patient here. This is not the fight for it. They need to get on top of Z-Bag. Heal him up. Quick Smart. Where is he? Again, hung out to dry. So far away. And now Faith down. I think that's going to do it. The tick goes over. And WGS Phoenix, look, we only saw some of the moments there, but I've got questions. Why is Z-Bag so far away from the people that
he's a Wrecking Ball. Wrecking Balls like to be, we're playing pinball here.
Like to be on 10% health at all times.
And Wrecking Balls, unless you're like a super good Wrecking Ball like Gamang, where you're on 10% health at all times, and you never actually die. But in this case here, Z-Bag unfortunately did go down, wasn't close enough to get healed back up by Aztec. The real critical one for me was actually Aztec not popping it to get Gableshe's mech healed up. You actually lose Gableshe's mech earlier than that, and then you lose Z-Bag, who was, I believe he was under the bridge going for the health pack, and he was either blocked out or stolen away. He was on 1 HP there, not in range to get healed. Aztec slowly tried to move that way as well. I think he even got helped by the Primal Rage of Mag to sort of bump him a little bit further forward, but they just couldn't quite connect the line of sight, so didn't quite get the healing in, and yeah, I mean, the rest is history there. We did come back at the critical moment to see, unfortunately, WGS lose, or fortunately for the Runaway fans out there, your team is looking 2-0. Dynamite right now heading into this grand final, and 2 maps away, potentially 4 required to win, and we're halfway there for Runaway.
I still feel like that could have been WGS's map, in all honesty. I think there was some things that kind of worked against them on the defense, some things that tripped them up on the offense as well. I mean, you can go through the microcosm of it all and find little things that they could have improved, but at the end of the day, what it says to me is I still think if they improve on those things, this is close enough that something like that could be the difference maker. Something like that could tip this team over the edge, and I could easily see them still picking up a chunk of maps, really putting Runaway through the ringer. If Runaway are going to win, even if they're going to win 4-0, WGS are still looking like a team that is going to make them work hard for it.
Well, I think the further we get into the series right now, unless Runaway, or rather WGS come in map 3 looking very strong, I mean, I'm starting to have my doubts now. Lijiang Tower was close enough. Lijiang Tower, you could have said, absolutely could have gone the way of WGS, even though towards the end, you look at the pivotal fights right on that last night market round, Runaway were in control. Even when they didn't have the cap, it felt like they had the resources to come back, and the retakes were going to be strong. They weren't in a position where Runaway looked like they were just about to lose, and that was going to be it. You look at Temple of Anubis, that is exemplified tenfold, where Runaway, even in situations where maybe they're losing this fight, you look at the situation where they're attacking B, got 5 minutes to do so to get 1 tick, even though they lost a lot of fights there, and it came down to, only a couple minutes remaining out of 5, you never felt like Runaway were necessarily out of control. I know we didn't get to see most of that attack, but the fact is, they lost a fight where they had 5 ultimates up, and I didn't count them out. I didn't say, well, that's just, even though WGS got past the worst of it, that doesn't mean WGS can actually hold on to that cap. You look at the opposite ends as well. Even though those defenses, you never really felt like Runaway were pressured that hard. So, I mean, proof is in the pudding, 2-0. That's all you need to see.
Yeah, this is a bit of a spicy start if you're a WGS fan, I've got to say, and it feels like some screws to be tightened still. Certainly it feels like they are not doing as adequate a job of dealing with Runaway's game plan as Runaway are dealing with WGS's game plan, but the plan could change and the game could improve yet. 2-0 up is still not a win. 3-0 up would still not even be a win. There's still plenty of series to come, and it continues after the break.
windows down, trying just to drown it out. Oh, the silence way too loud, like a broken record now. Maybe we can work it out. One more drink could cool things down. Yeah. Telling all your friends things that I never said, they're pushing you to get away. Maybe it's your therapist telling you that everything's gonna be okay. Fighting with your head, I can hear it in bed. You're trying to keep me awake. Can I be honest? Just let me be honest, yeah. Can we get over it? Should we just keep this up? Can we get over it? 'Cause haven't we had enough? Can we get over it? Or are we too deep enough? Can we get over it? No. Can we get over it? No. Wishing we could have some fun, but you won't tell me what you want. Should I just turn this car around? Baby, we're holding on to what we used to feel, wondering if it was even real. Can we ever work this out? Telling all your friends things that I never said, they're pushing you to get away. Maybe it's your therapist telling you that everything's gonna be okay. Fighting with your head, I can hear it in bed. You're trying to keep me awake. Can I be honest? Just let me be honest, yeah. Can we get over it? Or should we just keep this up? Can we get over it? 'Cause haven't we had enough?
If you're a Runaway fan, you might be starting to believe about now. You might, as they say, be getting hype. But 2-0 is good. 4-0 is the goal. At best, they're halfway there, and that's if WGS don't themselves step up. I've got to say, it is still being close, and I'm still looking at those places where WGS, if they tighten a few more bolts right on the mark, I think they're going to start taking some maps away.
Something living on a prayer here, unless you're a Runaway fan, in which case no prayers required, no hopes required, because, I mean, you should be feeling pretty darn good. I wouldn't even have to say that, you know, you're in a space where your faith is any part of it. You're looking at a pretty situation, 2-0 up, second map fairly dominant, first map could have gone either way, second map extremely good for you. And Runaway, I think, walk into this series favored in any case regardless. So it's already looking like a very good Runaway series. They haven't dropped the map just yet. They might not drop a map, and I did expect this one to potentially at least be a bit more competitive in the sense of WGS should be taking maps here. They should be looking towards using the depth of their roster, using the substitutions if they have to, bring in some of the other weapons. But the first two picks, which were both WGS's, have definitely not gone their way.
Not at this point. Like you were saying, this is still a team that has a lot more in the pocket, and I kind of want to see them reach into those pockets. Look, it could be that they feel that this is the Grand Finals roster that they want to be fielding, that they've got a plan that doesn't involve substituting members in and out as they've done in the past. I would find that a little bit surprising, though, because even in the semi-final, a tough 3-2 that was as well, against one of the best teams in the region right now, they were still using those substitutions, using the different options available on their roster. And I'd be surprised if they don't do the same again tonight.
You see Runner and Flowerwind there, keeping the heads cool on the Runaway side of things. Don't want to get too excited. Leave that one to the fans. Fans should be feeling pretty excited about Runaway's chances right now. But for the players, ice cold in the veins here. Still 2 more to go for Runaway to be able to actually close this one out. And I mean, we've seen the Runaway finals go the distance, go more than a distance. We've been to 8 maps with Runaway in the past. I mean, it's all possible. But for me to believe that could happen for a team like WGS to start really turn the fire on, they need to be showing me some more clearer win conditions in terms of being able to be a little bit more ahead of the curve in terms of tempo here. We're relying on Valentine's Echo a lot currently. Echo's not currently meta either, so let's see how they do.
Numbani feels to me like a brave map pick once again. We've seen Runaway absolutely dismantle teams on this map in exceedingly recent memory. But
Yep.
again, WGS Phoenix's pick, it is for a reason. You pick what you think is good for your team.
So a couple things here. One is there are no substitutions for WGS, and we're not going to be seeing the I'm37 sniper just yet. Could just be, but both these teams in scrims of the past week have discovered that actually dive, hard dive, play the Genjis, play the Echoes, leave the Lucios in there. That is the win. That is how you're going to find the success here. Speaking of past results on Gibraltar, or not Gibraltar, but Numbani, WGS beat Element Mystic 3-1 here. Runaway beats Talon 1-0 here.
So again, pretty devastating on Runaway's behalf. 1-0, like what they did to Talon on Temple of Anubis, which they just beat WGS Phoenix on. Look, I'm certainly not going to use Talon as the comparative metric, but I will say that Talon beat WGS Phoenix resoundingly when they met in their group. So, with that, WGS Phoenix, same kind of composition, going to square up. Nice catch on Chio early. Assassin will pay one back. In fact, pay two back, but even with the healers lacking here, Assassin and Mag are on the wrong side of this one, and WGS Phoenix are the ones accruing percentage. They have a fairly close respawn. Assassin still on the wrong side of this fight.
2 ticks are gone already right at
Ace
the moment.
though.
Runaway need to be able to contest fairly quickly. They have their tanks back in, their main carry is down. Merit's around somewhere, but needs to do a lot right now because Valentine carry pants is certainly back on.
Yeah, and I liked what WGS Phoenix did there. They sort of left Ace around the point, pulled off, dealt with Assassin. They knew that if they could kill Assassin, by the time it happens, they would be regrouping with their supports. Runaway might have been able to regroup to the point, but it would have been a 5 versus 6 on the point itself. That's exactly what happened. And WGS Phoenix are rewarded with a pretty timely cap.
And moving away from A, we're instantly onto the Tracer now. Not as much verticality to be concerned about here. You want the Tracer pressure. On both ends, that's going to be true. Ace has been playing a lot of Tracer in his time, so that's going to be a tough customer.
Ooh, all right, that's an interesting 1-for-1. The Gable Sheet D-Max means this ever so slightly favors Runaway, especially with Mag scraping and live for so long. At this point, even if he does go down, honestly, I don't think it's going to cause too much of an issue.
WGS
But
have
Ace
control.
finding one. Yeah, Mag's still low and hasn't been topped off, so now WGS are going to be able to put the foot back down on the accelerator with Ace in the driver's seat this time.
Look, if you trade Valentine for Chio, I favor that for the WGS side of things. It's not going to be a res for Runaway. You've got your main healer gone. Revenge on the Soul Zenyatta is not going to output enough healing at all. Mag's on critical HP. Assassin on critical HP. You can't heal them both up, and WGS take control of the point. They take the priority on the card itself, and they're about to get that cap.
It's Runaway who needs to do the job of contesting here, and they've got the tools for it, but if they burst down Mag here before he even gets that Primal Rage, as I say,
There
he
you go.
gets the Primal Rage, pumps that out. They've also got a self-destruct on Wu Yal if they need to stall out, but eyes on someone like Ace. As soon as that Primal Rage is out, he can pop a Pulse Bomb down, and WGS, they're just going to wait out the bomb, wait out the Primal Rage. Unfortunately, in looking to come back in, they have mistimed and misread the shape of this fight and get absolutely destroyed around the side. And I feel like I'm starting to see this a lot. WGS Phoenix not respecting Runaway's counter dive and acting like they're not expecting it.
I think that was more so Runaway going up to WGS than the other way around there. WGS was specifically trying to wait out the Primal Rage and also the Bob coming through from Mirror. That's the right idea for WGS. Don't contest the card just yet. Allow those ultimates to dissipate and then go for a fight afterwards. But Runaway know that's the same win condition. They want to stop WGS from achieving that goal. So puts them in a really awkward space, puts Runaway, well rather Runaway puts WGS in a bit of a corner there. Make sure that they go back to the respawn room and resetting all of that momentum. 3 minutes and 8 seconds on the clock.
Assassin feeling the heat, throws out the Pulse Bomb. Ace does so as well, but Assassin is the one who finds
98%.
his mark, and it is an absolutely brutal mark to find. But Mag and Merit both on the front side, so you're starting to feel less sore about the loss of Aztec, especially when you then finish off Revenge. And WGS Phoenix feeling like they're finding their feet on this dive with the tanks in sync with Ace. I feel like we're starting to see them come alive again.
And there it is, Gable She up for the multi-frag there in the mix of the chaos, and is the one coming out alive. WGS Valentine chooses to go over towards the duplication onto Mags. Winston gets a very quick Primal Rage, and that's exactly what you want to see. Ace picks up a multi-kill there as well. So, despite WGS starting on the back foot, Aztec down early, 98% could save himself with his Transcendence. Didn't have it available, is not going to have it for the next fight.
Throw the bomb out early, disrupt Z-Bag, who is on the retreat there. Gable She also getting D-Mech quick smart. Not going to survive that one as the bomb lands the shots in the back, and getting that disruption. I see that happen to the tanks of WGS Phoenix so often.
Every single time you see WGS get a little bit of pressure, they get a little bit of momentum, does get stopped up, they win one fight, they get a cap, and eventually Runaway They get forced a massive reset onto WGS, who, again, we've just had a massive stoppage of play. WGS have just lost a lot of forward momentum. They have to try and regain this one. Got a lot of ults to work with. The tank ults will be there soon, but the Wrecking Ball against just an average pick here.
And that's where the time gets lost, in those moments where you got to regain the momentum. But Mag in a confined space, you think that would be the right place for him to be with the Primal Rage, but with the self-destruct running, he has to duck out. And by the time he's back in, it's looking all right. As I say that, Valentine goes down, too aggressive on the other side. Assassin, no, that's a 1-for-1. Transcendence running from Revenge, keeps Runaway nice and healthy, but as soon as that's over, WGS Phoenix going to press back in with a minefield. What kills can they get done here? What can they find? Z-Bag down, but Ace starting to come alive again, and Runaway. Look at where they've had to move to. Revenge is in a really awkward spot in this fight.
He's going to go down.
Yeah, and this is where WGS Phoenix is looking to regain control.
And the problem is Runaway are just backing out towards the WGS spawn. The respawners start putting a lot of pressure on. The kills come on through. Valentine certainly going to be there. Duplicate nearly available again. Should be able to take control of the card feeling super. Merit starting to maybe lock this one down.
Yeah.
With Miguel, who's trying to remake as well.
The problem is Faith and Aztec both died super late in that one, and then Merit popped a barb out. So WGS Phoenix, though they were alive and they'd won the fight, they couldn't move the cart. They had to hunker off to the side. That being said, that was a temporary situation. That was a stopgap. Now that they've got the bobbers down, they've got the supports back with them, they immediately open back out, and they have a numbers advantage there, keeping the pressure on. Need to keep Z-Bag alive here. Aztec still in the mix. They've got a rally running. They are primed to cap this one out.
Yep, Phoenix don't have, well, Phoenix have a lot here. It's Runaway that don't have a lot to come back with Chio and Merit. Not going to touch that point. Merit comes back on a Sombra, but not in time as well. The rally, a little bit too late to the party there. And Valentine just drilling down both supports, making sure that they were going to have that advantage at minimum. And this is where I think the Echo pick has been so critical for WGS. That's been one of their biggest winning points. The biggest losing point for me so far is probably going to be Zabag on the Wrecking Ball here. Not necessarily the player, but I'm just not enjoying the pick. I don't think the Wrecking Ball is offering enough to the team, where the rest of WGS have definitely been playing up.
This is what I love to see, by the way. This is what I love to see in Overwatch, because I've got to credit Runaway for the constant stoppage. You brought it up. Every time they win one of those fights, they force WGS Phoenix off the cart. Not only are they winning a fight, they're changing the overall momentum of the game. They're taking it away from WGS Phoenix, who then have to work to regain it. But in each of those situations, WGS Phoenix were successfully able to regain it without too much of a time loss. That is the tug of war that was going on between these two teams. How much time can Runaway burn off? How much burned time can WGS mitigate? And at the end of the day, 1 minute 39 is solid when you consider how decent Runaway's defense actually was there.
I can tell you right now, this has been a really interesting battle, because for WGS, Ace and Valentine have played fairly phenomenally. You look across the Tracer Echo combination right here. When Valentine stays alive with Echo, he's doing a lot. They are going to be starting out on something a little bit more different here. I say different, but this has been more of the core composition they played. Mag turned around the corner. I think he might have even seen it in the third-person camera there, so he'll be going back now. An Assassin, is this going to be Genji? What's it going to be? Yep, there you go.
Nicely scouted out there. Thanks. WGS Phoenix, they do get reds. They're not going to be able to... I mean, they're still hunkering down. The thing is, Runaway know about it now.
Well, Ace also knows exactly where Runaway's going, so both teams have some information here. We do say that WGS have a lot more information. This will now allow WGS to rotate back onto the high ground. You can start to see the silhouettes there.
All right. Runaway making the move, but WGS taking the opposite high ground. An old classic, but Gaewushi and Z-Mag feeling the heat as they go for a counter dive on the low grounds, and it all starts to blow up. They've found some backlines, though. That is what's going to keep them in it, if anything, because WGS do actually have a closer respawn. Gaewushi is staying alive incredibly. He might even get back in a mech at this point.
Valentine.
Indeed he will. That's huge. Oh, critical kill there from Mag. That keeps Runaway in it for a hot second, but honestly, the DPSs are the ones, you know, it's suspenders keeping the pants up here, and the closer respawn coming in for WGS Phoenix. That's a minute and a half going to be lost there for Runaway.
One suspender for each DPS, that's two for the people that can't count, as Valentine gets a number of kills here, quite a lot. 75% for him. Aztec obviously leading the way on the Mario Coalescence. WGS in prime position right now. However, Assassin has a blade available. Should get pulled out this fight.
Ace got dangerously low though for a hot second, but Aztec is Coalescence, and he's going to waste no time in using it. Gableshe hacked out. They managed to drop out Assassin, and Gableshe survives as well. Mag even running a Primal Rage, but it's not getting anything done, and at this point in time, WGS Phoenix, not only is their defense really starting to look solid, it's Runaway who is struggling to make headway, struggling to pick off these members. It's also the time factor. More than half the time elapsed. Runaway, even if they cap this, are going to start to struggle to match WGS's pace.
And Chio's been taken out of every single fight as well. Chio's not been surviving these at all. Merit will have the Bob available for this push, instantly uses that one. In fact, does the Bob actually come out? Because Merit's been hacked out. That was really well timed.
I don't think it did come out, and Valentine finding revenge early in that. Look, Runaway around the point, they're going to get 2 ticks for their trouble, but now the rest of WGS Phoenix, who are all looking mighty healthy, collapse on a huge EMP to come down. They do need to finish these kills off. Like she gets a res. That's critical, and he survives. Runaway aren't done with this one yet. Gableshe, he's not getting back in the mech. Now Z-Bag has got to use this ultimate. They can't just try and fly by wire here. Chio will get popped down. WGS Phoenix starting to recover his position as Runaway are forced further back, but off the back of Revenge Transcendence, they're going to try and stay in this as long as possible. Eyes on Valentine with the Coalescence in his back. He's got to try and get something done with the Death Blossom. First casualty's Assassin. Second will be Revenge. Now the guns are trained on the tanks. Who gets finished off first? Chio drops, followed by Mag. And WGS Phoenix holding alive again. 2/3 accrued is not quite a cap. And now only 45 seconds remain.
I'll give Chio credit in the Valkyrie form. Survives for a much longer time. Keeps Runaway in that game. Assassin comes back in as well. Timing Revenge's Transcendence to keep him alive. Get that heal back in there. Trying to get that Dragon Blade. If you had Dragon Blade plus Transcendence at the same time, that would have been perfect. That would have certainly put WGS on the rocks. But every time Assassin nearly gets into position, look, he's pushed out again. He's always so low. He's been focused every fight.
Mag goes aggressive. Faith, you got to use the sound barrier if ever. Gableshe gets saved by it. Nicely done. Merit down. Good catch by Z-Bag. Now Ace nearly on an EMP. That EMP could just shut the door on Runaway altogether here on Numbani. They're still going to brawl through this minefield, so it's not quite easy. That does mean now EMP out there, closing off the members. Nicely done, I think WGS with that. That's one nail too many in that coffin. Runaway, I think they're not going to be able to punch their way out of the grave on this one. Gableshe going down late, but closer respawn still, and Valentine getting topped off. The Coalescence running, and Runaway struggling to respawn. They'll again use Revenge's Transcendence, I think, to try and barrel towards the point. Try and keep members alive on it. Try and get something accomplished here. But if WGS Phoenix can keep a lid on these members, nearly getting Assassin there is one thing. There's still more to go.
Cap is nearly coming on through. Valentine nearly has the Death Blossom as well.
Revenge.
Just barely staying alive. Revenge down, like you said. Here we go.
And that's the Death Blossom. Softens some things up. Assassin gets hacked and dropped. It's a trade for Valentine. Merit's Pulse Bomb gets ate by Gableshe though. And now the self-destruct, the Primal Rage, and the last few kills to get finished off. WGS Phoenix, I wanted to see them come alive. We talked about closeness, and everything prior to this was close, but to get the full cap and then fully hold on A, this is the least close it's looked so far, and it's actually WGS who win the map.
A single thumbs up there for Gableshe for a single map win so far in the series. If this was a soft best of 3, it would still be Runaway leading 2-1 here. Still 2 maps away from getting that Grand Championship final. However, WGS, we expected them to come back in stronger. That's what it looks like. That is a full hold on A. Such dominant display coming through from that defense as well. We start to see the different kind of compositions that we know that this team can run. We go back to the tried and true. We go back to the Lucia Moira brawl. We know Aztec can get the Coalescence as fast. He certainly does do that. We know Valentine can absolutely frag on that Reaper. He certainly does that, and then some. That opening fight where he completely slams down everybody, stays alive. They kill Chio so many times as well. That's the kind of WGS that's in command, in control, and in position to take down Runaway.
I'm impressed. This is what I was expecting out of WGS in the first 2 maps. And it felt like it was almost there. Almost, but not quite. I just want to point out what's happening on your screens right now. That's going to be a substitution. You saw
Mag's out.
Unwinding the cord from the keyboard. Yeah, that means Mag's out. That's fascinating to me. Mag has still been a huge cornerstone of Runaway's success. It could be that they're swapping to keep him fresh. They have swapped Mag out before at times.
Oh,
could
look at
sometimes
this.
just be. Oh, yeah, I think this is going to be the big change up.
Yeah,
for
both
WGS.
teams.
Yeah, that's 3 people going. So that's going to be I'm 37 coming in. That'll be Enocast coming in, and that'll be
Ace is gone as well.
Yep, and the
Waffle.
support
Waffle's
Waffle.
come.
There we go. There was 2 Fs and an L, and I was thinking
gonna-
Luffy,
I was-
and I was like,
I was
no,
trying to,
that's
like,
the stretchy
I was-
guy from One Piece.
It's also the guy in Shanghai Dragons.
He is. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I was gonna give you a hint. It's the breakfast thing. What is it?
Ah.
And you'd be like, oh, is it toast?
And I'd be like,
Is his name
full English. Full.
Is it pancake? Is his name pancake?
Pancake,
What is it? What is it?
surely.
I'd be like, it's close,
French
but it's got a
toast,
little bit more of it. It's got some patterns in it and stuff.
Flapjack. No. Just listing all my. Thing is, now I'm just hungry.
We just ate. And
Oh,
so
man.
WGS on that particular map as well. Well played coming through. And I want to talk about the mag change up a little bit while we still have a little bit going on screen here. But
I think we're
we have not seen.
Yeah.
We've not seen mag being subbed out for some time. I guess you know what? We'll save it for when we come back from the
Yeah.
break. There'll be plenty to speak on in terms of substitutions.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have a lot to talk about. We'll also know concretely what substitutions there are, but this is an interesting moment for those substitutions. Look, Runaway, when you lose a map, that's a good time to substitute. WGS, when you win a map, that's when they swap out half their roster. I can't make head nor tail of it, and I'm not going to be able to have the opportunity to do so until after the break when we return with map 4.
New York, Paris to LA. If you're a lady, then you wanna be the bae. You wanna rock, but he wants to swing. This ain't a jungle, baby boy. Nobody made you king. I ain't no pinner, baby, to show out to your entourage. So don't you blame me, baby. I'm not some brainless baby. Thinks he knows, but we know he doesn't. He thinks he knows, but we know he doesn't. The more you hold, the more he wants it. The more he wants it, the more he wants it. Stupid boys with the hit and runs. Stupid boys can't get the job done. Stupid boys with the hit and runs. The hit and runs. Boys just wanna have fun. 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 I'm a standout, not a one-night stand. Think you can play 'cause you're in the band. Might be the match to your dynamite, but if you mess with fire, boy, I just might ignite.
My heart's been ripped wide open. So many mixed emotions. It's like I finally noticed I've been set free. I've been set free. I spent a lifetime running, fearing what I'd become if I stop playing goalie on all of my thoughts. Yeah, speaking out straight from my heart, but now I see. But now I see. Oh, I see this love is taking over, breaking through my chest and overflowing. With every single beat, it pulls me closer, closer to you.
it's enough to show it. Now my whole world's in motion. I feel like February in my neighborhood. Yeah. Call me and I will make sure to set you free. To set you free. Oh, I see this love is taking over, breaking through my chest and overflowing. With every single beat, it pulls me closer, closer to you. I'm never gonna hold back being someone to lean on. I'll always be that two-way phone call when you need one. When everything in life is getting harder to shoulder, I'll be your soldier. My heart's been
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a series on our hands. WGS Phoenix winning out on Numbani and doing so in the most dominant fashion we've seen so far tonight, and that's despite being down 0-2 prior to that moment. Suddenly, this feels like it's been thrown right up in the air, and if it wasn't already chaotic enough off the results, although just before the break, we saw a huge run of substitutions across both teams.
You saw Runner over there as well, shoulder over Chio, and this is what I was talking about a little bit earlier. 2-0 up after Temple of Anubis, and that was a dominant Temple of Anubis, but I'm sure there was some choice words there in terms of keeping the team cool, calm, and collected, because WGS are a dangerous entity. I'm 37 in, Cass in. This is going to an escort map where it is going to be sniper heavy. Like I said earlier, you see I'm 37, it's going to be snipers. You see Enocast, it's going to be Hog. Wafflin means it's going to be Mercy for both. Sigma probably being picked up by Gable, she walking forward as well. Now the big question is, FaZe in, Mag out. Notice that in the playoffs so far, FaZe has not been playing over Mag. FaZe would otherwise, typically, you would think he's mostly a flex tank playing. Is he coming in for Wookal? No. Do a bit of a fist bump there.
Is he coming in to play Hog as well?
He is. He definitely is coming to play Hog. That's what you are subbing players in specifically to play Hog here. That's what both teams are doing. The biggest thing that's been crazy for me to think about, though, is Mag has been playing Hog for Runaway in the playoffs. Yet they've subbed them out for FaZe to play the Hog. So somewhere within Runaway, they definitely still believe FaZe has got the better Hog. Put FaZe on the Hog. We want FaZe on the Hog. I don't know if this is going to work out. I think Mag is a far more clutch player. FaZe might be better on the Hog, but Mag might still just be the better team player overall. So that's my biggest consideration. I don't know. It's hard for me to really look at this one, because we've seen FaZe on the Hog and it's been okay.
Yeah, I'm interested. Look, the other thing I think we can fairly say is it's been a little while since we've seen that. May feel like it's got better since then as well. Not that it was lackluster, it was fine, it was adequate, but this is a time when you want more than adequate for Runaway, especially when Mag has been well above adequate so far. But if this is the plan, then this is the plan. You've got to stick to what you prepared. The proof will be in the pudding, as always.
Yeah, it's just crazy, because what I thought they prepared was Mag coming through on the Hog, because that's what they played so far. FaZe hasn't come in for Hog for some time, not since the regular season, so I mean, we'll see. You have to believe that Runaway know what they're doing. You have to believe that Runner knows what he's doing. This is the matchup I've been waiting for. You saw I'm 37 on your screen just a little while, just a couple of seconds ago there. I'm 37 versus Merit. That sniper duel is going to be one for the ages.
That is the stuff that gets me up in the morning. I'm 37 versus Merit. This is the kind of duel you tune in to professional Overwatch to see. I hope in saying all of that, it actually lives up to expectation. Even if it ends up being one player utterly dominating the other, that will be just as significant as both going even, right?
That's all the evidence you need.
All I don't want to see is nothing. I don't want to see neither really catching each other and so on and so forth, having to press.
You know what nothing was? Nothing was when Talon played Runaway and you subbed Arrow in and he only played Sombra. That's it. Arrow versus Merit should have been that same sniper duel that was going to be one for the ages, and then Arrow didn't play a sniper.
There we go. The prince that was promised. We'll get it eventually. I'm 37 versus Merit. Like,
keep kissing frogs until you find the right prince. I think that's the thing right now.
Yeah. Havana as well. So, yeah, this is a spicy one. And I feel like Runaway have kind of... I mean, this is good, right? You know what the snipers can do on the opening part, but as you move into the middle, as you move into the distillery, it starts to become a very, very different ball game. Also, could very much see the Widowmaker and Hanzo play here. But I think overall, I dare say, WGS are the slightly less flexible team in terms of the DPSs, and that could be a difference maker.
Two things here. One, Runaway have not played Havana so far in the playoffs. WGS have. They beat BM in the quarterfinals 1-0, completely shut them out. Second thing, the reason Runaway haven't played Havana so far in the playoffs is because they've never been to a map 4. They've completed both quarters and semis 3-0. This has been their first map loss in the playoffs so far. They will not be winning a grand finals or having a playoffs undefeated. WGS have shown up. Let's see if they can continue doing so. Merit and I'm 37, guns out, barrels drawn. Widowmaker versus Widowmaker.
As they say, let's go. They say it slightly differently to that, though.
A little bit more aggressive and less...
A lot of emphasis on the let's instead of the go, which I always find surprising. Assassin on the Genji with Valentine on the Hanzo is a difference maker. The Shimada head-to-head.
Dude, the double sniper, you gotta feel is a little bit better though. FaZe can clearly hope but can't confirm the kill.
Yeah, now he's feeling the heat, has to back up, take a breather, get someone in the pocket, but it's Valentine who ends up getting caught up around the side. Gabushi deconstructed as well, and WGS Phoenix, they thought they had Runaway on the rocks there, but turns out no, the footing is stable, and it's WGS Phoenix who end up tripping over their two left feet.
I'll tell you what, I'm 37 got the better of Merit in that duel early on, but it's Runaway that got the better of the rest of WGS Phoenix. So now on the back foot for this 8-point defense, WGS will need to look for the reapproach. They might be running double sniper. Valentine was mostly focused on taking down FaZe there. I'm 37 didn't need any assistance versus Merit early on.
Now, eyes on someone like Valentine here, the quick burst down you can get out of those arrows. Needs something like that. Ultimates aren't quite in play, but Gabuchi's so low, they can't quite keep him alive. He's himself alive with the kinetic grasp, but faces the hook from downtown to secure that one. And WGS now one man down. Inocast having a solo tank, and the damage is going to get done. FaZe goes 2 for 2 on the hooks, and WGS Phoenix look like they're struggling to make headway. It feels like they're struggling to even soften up these targets for someone to come in for a kill.
Well, I would tell you what, I'm 37 has got kills. He got Assassin down there. He'll get that 1 kill tax, but it's the rest of the team that haven't done enough here. FaZe, the substitution's been working out so far. 2 excellent hooks now. Whole hog available as well. Wukiel is going to have the earlier flux and Gaybolshi. And look, Wukiel, his Sigma, I think personally is his best pick anyway. So this is a very good comp for Runaway to still be running.
This is going to be the point that makes or breaks it. This is so often where we see pushes on Havana grind to a halt and never get back underway. So if WGS Phoenix can find somewhere to anchor themselves in, they could be in the money here. But first, have to dodge out of the way of that Gravitic Flux. Now throwing out a Dragon Strike. It disrupts Runaway's positioning, but ultimately not by too much. And Runaway still on the front foot here, still largely in control of the cart. And Gabushi superbly low with Assassin ready to press the advantage. Transitions his back.
I'm 37.
Catches him in mid-air with the headshot. That might just be enough to take the wind out of the sails. You already see the backing out coming in as Assassin does get res, but FaZe super low, goes down. 1 for 1, Assassin still finding kills. Now it's WGS's turn to res and use a Gravitic Flux as the kills become chaotic.
Assassin, 1 HP here, barely stays alive. No, he'll go down to Valentine. It's the snipers that have been really difficult for him to deal with so far. Chio confirmed that Runaway will lose this fight. WGS hold on for now.
This is where WGS needed to pick up a win. They need to start making a stand. They need to start burning the time off the clock. And this is a good position as well. You look at how far Runaway have to actually get into this distillery to be attacking the cart again. I mean, they might have to win a fight just to get onto it, and then there is still time for WGS to respawn and contest before the cap happens.
I'm looking for the blade here, but so far I'm 37 has headshotted Assassin twice. That second kill was insane because you have to time the deflect as well. When does Assassin decide to let go of the deflect? That was what was being considered. Inocast to get taken down. Whole hog is still available.
Valentine nearly on a Dragon Strike as well, and that can be a real wrench in the works when there's so much space between you and the cart. Something that changes how you have to position is a real troublemaker, but Inocast down. Dire Straits just hanging around off to the side, too far from his team. This is the opening opportunity. Immediately cuts down Gabushi.
Oh my god!
But Valentine this time comes in with the headshot. The res is coming in, but I dare say Inocast back in the mix with a whole hog running immediately. could be the higher impact one. Waffle pops his own Valkyrie as well. Wuyal did pick one up, but they're still only just hanging around the cart now, getting on, so would have to use the Transcendence to anchor their position. Waffle struggling to get out of there, has to try contest, has to try res, has to also be healing up Valentine and Runaway. I said they could win a fight and then WGS Phoenix could respawn and contest, but Runaway dragged the fight out and moved it over to the cart itself. So now what's happening is they won that fight and they're continuing to win the fight after the cap.
I'll tell you what, WGS Phoenix have certainly found the answer to Assassin. They've been shutting him down. Second map in a row where Assassin has not been better. But let me tell you one thing. Runaway, we're talking about roster depth there. WGS has more, but what Runaway does have is FaZe coming in on the Hog. I doubted this. I thought Mag was going to play the better Hog. No, I'm wrong. FaZe has come in and blown the doors wide open. This has been a hell of a performance on the Roadhog so far.
Gotta say, Gabushi versus Wuyal on the Sigmas is something I hadn't even thought about, and something I realize now I've wanted to see my entire life. Revenge, Resurrection has to be committed there. WGS Phoenix just gonna try and castle up here. It's got eyes on everything. This is where, again, a line needs to be drawn.
Not even just this year or when you realize Overwatch was a thing, but the entire life. It's quite a decent length of time there.
Well, it would have been hard for me to have realized it before Overwatch was a thing and before Gabushi and Wuyal were people I knew about. FaZe, eating a lot. Takes another stun, goes down. Inokaz, he takes a stun, but he lives, and now the Dragon Strike again, disrupting the positioning, but it's not a good position for WGS Phoenix to try and dive on some more. Now Chio comes in with a res. As Valentine goes down, it's actually man advantage.
Okay.
And Waffle goes down, but Gabushi's going to pick one back up, and now Wuyal low stays alive. Finds Gabushi, Aztec, trying to rescue people with the Transcendence, but Runaway, they just keep picking members off one by one by one. WGS Phoenix are not putting down the same focused pressure. They're not catching individuals and finishing them off. They're constantly playing damage control, but keeping FaZe under control should be enough to at least give Runaway some pause right now.
Runaway under control, the damage confirmed as well. That's both parts there, reverse order, but you'll take it for WGS. Valentine now thinking about coming through onto a Genji, thinks better of it, and has been a lot of Echo gameplay, and it has been fairly good Echo gameplay, now being pocketed by Waffle and the Mercy as well. I'm37 has had the better of both Merit and the rest of Runaway for some time. WGS have been winning solely through him for the most part, but Runaway have been winning solely through FaZe as well.
Not a lot to go off here. It's just the Valkyrie on Waffle. Inokaz, he's going to die before he even gets a whole hog. Now Wuyal gets to go ahead and pop his Gravitic Flux. Gabushi comes smashed down to earth. Assassin surviving as well. So low. Valentine dead. Not even a trade kill. WGS Phoenix looking like they are not the same team all of a sudden in that final fight. And I say it again, it feels like where Runaway are finding an individual, they're keeping them locked down, they're picking them off, they're not letting them recover, they're not letting them back out, they're not letting them get healed. WGS are not accomplishing the same against Runaway.
That's because Inokaz is not getting these hooks in there. When FaZe gets a hook, and he's getting a lot of hooks in here, you are not raising that player back in. That is a player that is going to take a lot of damage and is going to find himself in a position where he can't effectively be healed up. Again, I repeat myself, WGS Phoenix have so far been playing through their Widowmaker on I'm37. Whether that's by choice or not, that's just the reality of how it is so far. Runaway have been playing through their Hog on FaZe. They've been getting not a lot done on Merit. How many times have you seen Merit come on the kill feed? Like one time.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what other kill he got. WGS, so I'm37, has been killing everybody. He's been annihilating everybody, but the issue is, if you're relying on Widowmaker here, getting headshots that you can't confirm the kills on doesn't matter. That's just going to be damage that gets healed up. Getting a long-range kill on a safe member for a res doesn't matter. That play gets res back in.
Yep.
If it's your Hog getting the kills on the other end, neither of those issues are taking place. So you find a hook, that's a kill, can't res. You find a hook, get some great damage in, very difficult to heal back up. And that's the difference between playing through your Widowmaker versus playing through your Hog.
And that's to say nothing of the fact that so often the man getting hooked by FaZe is Inokaz. Just to add insult to injury in terms of the overall result on the fights. But WGS Phoenix now running what Runaway were running on their own attack. That means a mirror matchup.
Aztec on the antidote. Revenge still staying on the Zenyatta. This is what I want to see as well. Aztec, Zenyatta. is specifically looking to counter out FaZe. They know FaZe has been the biggest problem, the biggest thorn on the side. So, Sleep Dart, Bionase, anything to help out EnoCast in that matchup by turning it in their favor is going to be required. Runaway still want to play through potentially looking towards Mirror and Assassin, even though they have FaZe on board. They're not running the Ana, so they're not looking to counter as hard.
And this is the difference, FaZe. He eats a bionic grenade, he ends up going down. It is traded though. Aztac goes down and the res is there on FaZe where it can't be there for Aztac because of where the positioning is at. Now EnoCast gets finished off as well. And this is again the issue WGS Phoenix keep having. They're not finding impactful picks, and Runaway keep finding them on WGS Phoenix.
And they can't buy enough time either. Notice that, by the way, I'm37 got another kill there, so you are confirming more kills. You'll be in a situation where maybe Runaway get one, I'm37 get one back. But then Runaway gets the resurrection in there. Assassin piles in. Waffle goes down. Aztec doesn't stay alive. I'm37 then receives pressure from Assassin, who now has a blade available. I don't know about Valentine on this Genji pick. I still think the Hanzo will be better for him personally. Double sniper plus Ana means FaZe could be in a lot of trouble.
Valentine as well goes down to Wuyal of all people, just absolutely dismantled on the flank. And WGS Phoenix feel like they're struggling to even rotate towards positions where they can make picks now. Runaway, they just pepper them with so much damage. WGS Phoenix are constantly on the back foot right now.
And this is where you can start to see the setup as well. It's Assassin plus Chio on the high ground, FaZe on the low ground. So if you go for FaZe, Assassin's there for damage. You can Dragon Blade into you as well. Chio's super safe. That's another hook coming on through. Blade coming on into.
Look at how early EnoCast uses to take a breather as well. He hadn't even taken that much damage at that point in time, and now Assassin's coming in from the backside. And WGS Phoenix, they're not even really isolating these members. That's a decent whole hog. A lot of it does get caught up in the kinetic grasp, but still able to finish off Wuyal. The resin on one of those two tanks. They need to finish him back off, and they're able to do just that. I'm37 down on the flip side. If they can keep... I shouldn't have said if they can keep Valentine alive, because of course they can't. But now Runaway, I mean, the few members that are alive are able to keep this on lockdown. You've got a very healthy Assassin. You've still got a Transcendence on Revenge.
They turn it around.
They are constantly low on health. They're constantly not getting to top up the members they need, and they're not finishing off enough people at any given time.
Assassin just farmed up another blade solely on EnoCast, just dancing around this Roadhog, putting in the right clicks, putting in the melees in there as well, and Runaway turn it around. They couldn't kill Assassin. That was a critical member. You saw EnoCast going for the hook, and Assassin instantly gets a deflect in there, and then gets out alive, gets healed back in. Runaway still survived now. We're down to under 1 minute. Runaway have 4 ultimates, including another blade.
I mean, this is an absolute joke how little progress has been made here. Watch EnoCast here, walks up the FaZe, gets a
oh my God,
leaves himself exposed. That is the second time in a row they've fallen for this exact same play. And the second time around, it was even more impactful than the first. It's disastrous.
The problem here is Assassin's a much better Genji so far. The Valentine, we know FaZe is a better Roadhog than EnoCast. That doesn't need to be said. Gableshy and Wukel, you'll say, is fairly even. If not, you'll probably give it a slightly over towards Wukel. I do believe Wukel's a better Sigma, but Gableshy's a better Diva. Aztec on Ana, it's his best pick, but so far, you know, this Nano Blade could be good. It has to be the Nano Blade.
It has to be, surely. If not that, then what? Again, EnoCast tries to go toe-to-toe with someone. It's more people than he's expecting, and he's out of the eye line of his supports. Valentine pulls out the Nano Blade, barely able to get one. Not even able to get FaZe, who's still alive, still as a whole hog. And if they try and go for him, they're going to get collapsed onto the backside. So they're finally going to push on the other flank there. They've left FaZe snoozing. He's not a threat for the moment, and if they can finish off Runaway in that moment, then they might be able to do this yet. The res on I'm37, they're at full fighting force. They're trying to pick up these last few members, trying to get Chio in the flyby. Don't quite get him. FaZe, though, still on the wrong side, will go down, and that is going to allow them to secure a cap if they can finish off Assassin and Chio, which they ought to be able to do.
Yeah, they should be able to do so, considering FaZe is out of the mix here. Assassin's down as well. They lose Aztac, and this last wave of respawns looks fairly good for Runaway. However, Chio down. Surely Runaway can't do it.
They res in Assassin.
Runaway?
Sure, they killed Chio, but he already got a res. Mirror got a headshot. All the ultimates up. WGS Phoenix couldn't kill the last 2 members alive if they got Chio. And there was a critical moment there where an Assassin's PO, sorry, not Assassin, the other side's Genji, the name's escaping right now. Valentine's PO.
Genji was so forgettable.
Chio is on 1 health. He's flying by right in his crosshairs, and you know what he did? He deflected.
And let me tell you
What
what
are
as
you
well.
deflecting?
Let me tell you what as well. I mean, he was trying to deflect the shot into Chio flying by, but
Just shoot him!
I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe he ran out of ammo. I'm not too sure. Either case, that wasn't the kill. That wasn't the critical one. It was the fact that the rest of the Runaway members come back in. The Transcendence from Revenge, perfectly timed. He still had that one waiting in the bank. So many members. They take so long to take down FaZe. I mean, look, yeah, eventually FaZe goes down, but he's just always hanging out, and they always have to turn around for him. You saw Runner, by the way, over towards the end there, go straight to the man of the hour, the man of the map for Havana, the one that wins it for Runaway. They got to know, if there's an MVP so far for just Havana, it is 100% on FaZe. Coming in big time with Roadhog, I did not expect that, but now we know for a fact, if we're going to see more Roadhog for Runaway, it's going to come through from FaZe, and now I'm starting to believe the 7-man roster between all 7 of these members makes sense. They're all here for a good reason. You'll look over towards WGS, there's a good reason here as well, but Cass has not been performing well in the Hog. I'm37's been doing exceptionally well in the Widowmaker, but one Widowmaker does not make your team, and I'm37 cannot solo carry this team.
Feels like the pendulum is swinging more and more violently with each pass, right? First map was kind of close. The second map, a little bit less close, swings big the way of Runaway. Third map, even less close, swings the way of WGS. Fourth map, even less close, swings the way of Runaway. Now, is it a pendulum, or was it actually that WGS just had one flash in the pan? The proof will be in the next map. The proof will be in how well WGS recover from this, because this is now Runaway at match point. We talked about how, one map a series does not make, 2 maps does not make, 3 maps is nearly there, and now WGS Phoenix have their backs against the wall.
So both teams are going to be subbing out all those recent subs we just saw for Havana, because we're going back to Control. It will come through as WGS's pick as the losing team of the previous map. So say goodbye to Waffle, Cass, and I'm37 for now. Say goodbye to FaZe for now as well. We're going back to same comps on map 1 potentially. It's not going to be Lijiang Tower anymore. Remember though, Lijiang Tower was fairly close, so I'm not calling this one either way just yet. This can still go to a 3-2, but what we do know is Runaway have found their match point 3 in the series now. 3-1 starts feeling pretty darn good. If this was the first of 3 best of 5, the game's already over. If this was a semi-final, the game's already over, but we are in grand finals territory, and Runaway are only 1 away.
And it felt like this could have been where WGS started to mount the comeback when you consider how Numbani went for them. But that is not to be, at least not right now. But we saw what happened on Numbani. We still know what this team is capable of. Lijiang Tower was a close map. Now we go back to Control. It's WGS Phoenix's map pick again. I dare say they are down, but they are not out for the count just yet. Do they get back up and keep fighting? Find out after the break.
잡아냈기 때문에 요턴.
네. 자, 들어가는데요. EMP. 자, 바로 비트.
비트 세이브.
자, 메카닉 깨졌어요.
예, 근데 이거 원실 분노. 예, 일단은 좀 이격이 되고 번지가 돼가지고 충삼이.
네.
상대 누르게 만들면 EMP를 지워야죠, 에이스.
네.
EMP 돌아옵니다. 오!
자, 근데 성찬이 먼저 채워서 바로
네, 바로
눌렀고요.
비트 세이브 나와요.
아, 네, 페이스가 너무 좋았네요.
야,
예.
타이밍 예술인데요.
예.
이러면은
자탄이 있습니다.
아,
아, 이거 성찬님 잘린 상황에서
예, 빠른 닉으로.
네.
자, 고지고까지 만들었고, 자, 비트 쓰면서 개별 씨가 지금 아웃된 상황에서 안쪽에서 자탄인데
계속
자,
EMP를
세이브로
가지고 있는데 개부씨가 일단은
지금 선수의 원실 분노.
자, 원실
바로
분노까지
시전하면 싸움
탔고.
열어요.
성찬의 EMP.
비트! 비트! 세이브! 자,
야,
자탄.
이게 비트가 왔네. 소울조가 측면을 도는 거 반대편 가갖고 이런 거가 메리 좋았습니다 지금.
네. 결국 그 버티는 힘으로 생존해가면서 생존을
네.
해가면서 지금은
신 선수.
우리할 메카까지
네.
접었어요.
어세시.
오, 페리시!
야, 이거 너무 좋은데요? 야, 어세신이 들어가서 진영 깨놓고.
와, 체력이 없어서 몇 번 접었을 때 그 어그로 핑퐁이 안 돼가지고. 아, 이거.
네.
근데 아까랑 다른 건 이번엔 아나가 있어요. 그러니까 이게 러너 생각은 이거죠. 3분이면 적어도 나노 용검 2번은 돌린다. 뭐예요 이거?
야, 지금
야.
바로
아니,
끌어냈거든요.
방금 뭡니까 이거?
네, 바로 터뜨립니까?
저게 돼요?
우와.
목을 그어버렸습니다.
네.
임삼치.
임삼칠이
MC는 총을 따고 왔는데.
세 명의 용의 이격 타이밍에 들어가서 3명 잡아냈어요.
벌써 오면은 모이라나 이쪽이 붙었을 때 큰일 납니다. 아, 타겟팅 너무 좋았어요. 이제.
들어가서 들 끊어냈고.
보이자마자 빛이 찍고
완전
들어가서 결국은
와.
스코어를 빼낸 상태에서 EMP도
에이스.
이 뒤에서 지금 찾고 있는데 에이스를
와, 진짜요. 네. 100점짜리, 100점짜리 EMP.
네, 싹 다 좀 들어가면서 자, 이번에 4명 잡아내고.
EMP 있을 때만 6이나 하면 되거든요.
네.
그렇죠.
터트려서 자 EMP 뒷선
들어갔습니다.
다 맞췄어요. MC도 잡았고.
알렸어요.
네, 3명 더 끊어낼 수 있는 상황이네요.
예, 결국 상대를 압박하고 협박해서 초월 가지고 있는 초월만 주머니에서 빼내면은 뭔가 이제 손브라를 활용을 해서 큰 궁극기로 위기를
와우.
네, 오우. 끊었어. 바로 살리죠. 와. 야, 이번엔 안 쓰. 오.
자, 진영이 좀 무너진 상황이라서
네.
자,
아,
부착까지
좋네요.
이번에 지박 선수를 끌어내면서 앞라인 정리.
아, 근데 희상도 진짜 좋은 딜러예요.
네. 좁은 구역에서 아즈텍이 융화로 MN3를 일단은 녹이긴 했는데
못 끊었잖아요.
그렇죠.
그러니까 EMP를 6대5 됐기 때문에 안 눌렀는데 에이스가 결국 그러면서 턴이 날아갔어. MC 초월기가 눌렀죠.
네. 스펙팅 했습니다. 상대 70%. 찰란진 잡아냈습니다. 개벌시아 페이스가 정리됐고요.
아, 근데 EMP
이상.
안 됐는데.
아, 이거 안
EMP를
터졌어요.
눌렀으면 안 됐죠 지금은.
네,
네.
그러면서 정리가 안 됐고 오히려 희상은 케어를 받으면서 살아남았어요.
네.
다 봅니다. 그럼 펄프가 또 왔어요?
그렇죠.
예?
자, 들어온 상황
아니.
이상.
펄프가 조금 전에 먹혔는데. 와, 미쳤어요.
네.
그런 플레이가 좀 이제 킬로 이어지고 있지는 않다 보니까.
그렇습니다. 문 열었어요.
아, 근데 용의 경은 먹혔어요.
네.
초이까지.
아,
개별 시간이 무너진 상황이고요.
위에 신경 쓰고 있어요.
대박이네요,
와,
이거.
이거
아, 아니, 메르시가 두 번째 지금 피커에 붙었어요.
네, 지금 들어가면서 전원을 끊어내고.
하네요. 와.
네, 이번 경기에서 풀세트 만드네요.
자,
용거!
어쌔신.
와, 대박인데요?
야,
이걸!
튕겨내기 와!
하하!
이거 대박인데요?
야, 이게 지금 약간 방심하고 있어.
진짜 맹원학하기가 어려운데
네.
지금 자꾸 해가지고
전원
이걸
끊어내고.
보통 같으면 괜히 빼라고 얘기하고 싶은데
어쌔신이에요.
네, 이러니까
그냥 몰려오면은 일자 구간에서 질풍찬 긁으면서
선수가 피해가 별로 진짜
와, 튕겨내기.
어쌔신.
와. 어느 순간 어디에서 나타날지 모르니까
좋아요.
아까 그 전에도 또 죽을 뻔했습니다. 네. 아까 틀에 잡던 그 장소.
이게 지금 플레이를 보면 겁이 없어요. 너무 잘 풀리니까.
아,
킥이 들어가는 상황에서
경기력의 앞에 픽이
밟아야 돼요. 밟아야 돼요. 밟아야 돼요.
자, 짱구도 위험해요. 짱구도.
밟고 싶어.
와, 내가.
어쌔신.
야, 리벤트가
런어웨이 결승 진출.
I can never be lonely if you put your hand in mine. I can never be lonely if you walk with me this time. I can never be lonely if you promise you won't leave. I'll never be alone. Only lone, only. I've waited for so long, but what if it goes wrong? And you walk right out that door. I never thought I'd be speaking words like these, but they're hanging on my lips. I can never be lonely if you put your hand in mine. I can never be lonely if you walk with me this time. I can never be lonely if you promise you won't leave. I'll never be alone. Only lone, only. You're patient and you're kind, no fault that I can find. Yet I stand here bound to run. How little did I know how quickly love can grow. Please meet me as I am.
3-1. It's time. It's match point time. It's my favorite time of the day. But I don't think this is guaranteed to be the end because it's 3-1. I think that particular map was a result more of a huge role difference. We talked about it at great length. FaZe, a player good enough that they would sub out Mag, one of the best, if not the best, main tank players in Korean Contenders. And on the other side of that, Inocas, not to discredit the guy, just couldn't measure up.
Yeah, and I think that's something we even saw. We got glimpses of that even when you looked at the 3-2 victory for WGS versus Element Mystic. You started to feel like Inocas was maybe a potential hole in the team, and you know, we looked at this guy earlier on.
FaZe is still in.
Okay, well that means we're looking at potentially Hog again. So Mag is still not in then.
If it ain't
Which is
broke.
quite interesting. Well, I don't know. The question becomes, do you want to keep playing Hog on Control? And I think this is going to be a more difficult game mode for the Hog to be played on. I think you can get preyed on a lot higher here. You're in a situation where Ace will come in to play the Tracer, Valentine will come into something like the Echo. And at that point, if you're playing a Roadhog, you consider that an Echo's on the table, that Focusing Beam is going to entirely demolish you. So FaZe, for living as much as he did previously, he'll need to try and do that again against tougher competition, in my opinion.
So WGS full swap back
Yeah.
to the regular 6 they had all throughout the rest of the series until Havana. Runaway, on the other hand, not making the substitution back. That's interesting to me because it's WGS to get the map pick. So it's not like Runaway can sort of sit there and go, oh, well, we're going to take it to this map where we think we can make the Roadhog work, so we're going to keep FaZe in. This to me says that they may be expecting FaZe is going to actually occupy more of a main tank role.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think that FaZe is going to come in and play, for example, a Winston. There is a real world where he comes in and plays a Wrecking Ball, but that still doesn't justify him because Mag can just come in and play that one.
I mean, maybe they feel that
What else?
They feel that WGS can't deal with a Roadhog.
Well, this is what I'm going to say right now, and it's partially to do with what you just said then, but it's more so to deal with the fact that right now for FaZe, or right now for Runaway and FaZe, they have a game to lose. They can drop a game, and you don't ever want to be the type of team as we start heading to Nepal to say, like, yeah, we're ahead by 3-1, we'll just drop a game for no reason. You're in a position where you can make a risk. High risk, high reward here. What you said could be true. Could be that Runaway do feel that WGS cannot deal with the Hog, and if that becomes true, they win now. This becomes a 4-1 situation where WGS, even after making substitutions back to their starting 6, their original 6, if they still cannot deal with the Roadhog, it's over. It is up to WGS now. The onus is on them to find the answer to FaZe. If that cannot be found, we crown ourselves a champion.
You've got to expect that they can. You've got to expect that they can, moving on to
That's
Control.
what the Echo's there for.
But we are on Nepal. And there are ways you can approach a Hog here. I'm thinking especially about stages like Sanctum.
It's pretty much just Sanctum, really.
It's pretty much just Sanctum.
It actually is just Sanctum, yeah.
But, I mean, win one other one and then win Sanctum, right? Like,
You have to win the other one. Look, and we don't know that you can win Sanctum with a Hog because the problem is, yeah, you can do some cheese and pull some dudes in the hole. Guess what? The Lucio on the other team can put you in the hole as well, just as easy.
It's a little bit more nuanced.
It's you're going to be a Hog standing on the point with a Lucio on the other end. There's a lot of environmentals that can happen here. And just for context as well, if you hook someone at the wrong time, a wrong time here would be that you try and hook a Diva or Winston while they still have their mobility active.
Yes.
You drop them in the hole, they jump out. It doesn't help you. You get put in the hole, you can't jump out. So it is inherently, again, I will repeat myself, high risk, high reward here.
Yes, absolutely. But at the end of the day, look, Runaway are committing to it. So that's the world we're living in right now. It's the world where they're kind of taking that risk.
They got room to make the risk.
Even outside of Sanctum specifically, like they're looking at this going, yeah, we think we can at least make this work. And the thing is, it was really good. They played it exceptionally well on Havana. It's not just that role difference. Like, let's be clear about that. It is also how the rest of the team was playing around the Roadhog. Runaway felt like they had a slicker performance on that front than WGS as a whole, right? Even a slightly lackluster Roadhog, if the rest of the execution is there, you should still win a few fights on balance. And that wasn't really happening for WGS. That, to me, says that Runaway are genuinely good at this team comp, and maybe they can fit a square peg into a round hole here.
I just don't want to see FaZe become the liability on the team, because while he was like, I would happily give him a one-map MVP for Havana. I'll give that to him. But you can then walk into Nepal and then be the detriment to your team where you end up just feeding. And you can feed big time. You get pushed into a hole, that's 600 HP with an ult charge instantly gained by somebody. Yeah. You can get fed on by Tracer. Tracer's going to have a good time just feeding ult charge off you. Echo is the same deal. Super easy target for an Echo. Focusing Beam is going to absolutely annihilate you. We know Valentine can and will play the Echo. He's going to do it.
Yeah.
And you got multiple ways of having your ult shut down. Like, I don't know that FaZe is going to be able to safely use the whole Hog. I mean, you use that one, and everybody can just jump on you and shut you down as well. Gableshoe's going to be back on a Diva for sure, so he's going to really pocket his team hard. You want to hook somebody this time around, the defensive matrix is going to be all over you as soon as the hook comes through. It is going to be way harder for you to confirm kills. It is considerably easy to bully another Roadhog as a good Roadhog. If you're a good Roadhog in a Roadhog 1v1 matchup, and the other Roadhog is not nearly as good as you, which is what we saw between Enocast and FaZe, you can demolish that other guy. But now that you're going back up against Z-Bag, who's not going to be playing a Hog, I don't know if that reality is going to come true.
But obviously the measure of it will be how it actually plays. And all the things we say, true as they are in a vacuum, could turn out to be wrong once they hit the floor, once they are actually in the game, once gravity begins to affect them. WGS Phoenix, surprising here, Valentine actually going to be on a Reaper to start with. FaZe obviously on the Roadhog, and Aztec got a Moira as well.
Reaper, not surprising here. Either Reaper can really start burning through that Hog, but the tanks of WGS are feeling low to start with. As is nobody survives.
Really deep in. They do find FaZe, so that's something, but they kind of wanted to pop someone like Chio or Revenge, because now, as the tanks have to let up the pressure, if Chio can find a res on FaZe, actually, he's kept away from the body, so that's something there. It's a 1-for-1, but Z-Bag low. Merit is also low, but nobody's got the guns trained on him. Finally, Z-Bag able to get him on the flyby, and Ace getting around the back line finds the more exposed Revenge now. WGS Phoenix feeling like they're a little bit at their limit there, especially when you look at the health bars of folk like Z-Bag and Gableshoe getting D-Net late in it. but they do get it done. They get it over the line. Should be rewarded with this opening cap.
FaZe has been hacked out, and this is the difficulty. Up against a Sombra now, even Faith and Lucio just runs you down, and this is where I'm going to say FaZe cannot end up being the detriment to the team. You're going to start feeding on hard. That's not the idea. The cap comes through, Assassin gets a couple of kills, the bag doesn't have Primal Rage.
Yeah, so those are some really dangerous late kills there, especially when you consider now Valentine's super low and Merit back in and
Okay, Merit.
Yeah, WGS Phoenix never actually swung around to recover from that position. Assassin kept running interference. They never actually top members off. Z-Bag kept brawling a bit longer than I think he needed to as well. If he just pulled back earlier, they could have topped everyone off, hunkered down on the point, and now they could have gone in for a counter-engage around about now when Runaway were pushing back on. I think WGS Phoenix didn't quite set themselves up right there after winning that opening fight.
Well, you're not stressed out just yet as WGS because you do have EMP available. EMP on these juicy targets is going to be great revenge. Not quite onto the Transcendent. It's got about 12% to get there, so some early damage. If Runaway can stall up in the next fight before the EMP is relevant, that would give Runaway a real good shot at winning. They might even want to start throwing some other ultimates in there. Open up with a Flux if you have to. There's a little bit of danger there.
Z-Bag goes down though. The dive already kind of disrupted and the barb out as well. Assassin does go wide with the pulse bomb. But
They do delay though.
yeah, it's time off the clock while they wait for Z-Bag here.
That's important because now Revenge does have his ult available. That's the one we were waiting for. Runaway will happily trade both Barb and a Pulse Bomb to secure that. WGS don't just have an auto win in the next fight anymore. This one's going to be slightly harder now. FaZe going to be on the whole hog. Great catch, but Revenge will be there.
Yeah, and now look at all the other ultimates that can come in. Gravitic Flux is massive. Sound Barrier is there to keep everyone alive. Gamershi will get a self-destruct. There we go. Opening kill comes in. It's actually Assassin going down. Z-Bag does die to a whole hog, but everyone else just ducks to cover. And now, what's the game plan, Runaway? You're out of ultimates, 2 members down. The remaining 4 are just going to retreat.
Yep, so perfect counters coming through from both ends. Revenge to counter out the EMP, but also the Sound Barrier for Faith. Counteracts Wuhiel is coming through on the Flux, and Wuhiel's going to come back now onto a Wrecking Ball. Let's see if that guys.
Yep, respect it. You must respect FaZe's accuracy on these hooks, and now trying to go toe-to-toe with it in a confined space with FaZe right there on full health, with Merit immediately behind him, unthreatenable. Z-Bag, even with the Primal Rage, got brought so low so far. Back out. They try and duck back to the point, but remember, Aztec's dead. Who's going to heal these people off? WGS Phoenix. Just as soon as they get it, they loosen their grip on it. They are not clutching it tightly enough, not respecting FaZe still on this hog and what it is accomplishing for Runaway against all odds.
And he's playing in a more of a conservative way as well. He doesn't need to be the sole carry here. Merit's doing a lot more of this map than previously. FaZe can just rely on still that amazing hook accuracy so far. Takes down Aztec nearly instantaneously. That's not going to be a coalescence anymore. You then see the hook onto Faith as well. WGS Phoenix just do not get to play with their supports. Valentine can't get a successful death while some dies to Assassin. And now Runaway approaching 99.
I mean, the plan here has got to be get an EMP and use it before Revenge has himself for Transcendence, but Gableshee is already out of the map. Good trade-off, though, as they find Assassin. If Gableshee doesn't die, or even takes a long time to die, then this is where work can get done, but with a res on Assassin and Gableshee getting finished, now the EMP maybe needs to come through, but there's mines all over the point. If anyone wants to go for it, they're going to have to take damage, and the fight's not even happening on the point. WGS Phoenix, every time they had it, they end up letting go of it, and I feel like they kept throwing themselves into fights they didn't need to take. They kept playing into Runaway's hand.
And if you're wondering why Eggs held on to EMP here, he is specifically the type of player who always tries to wait for a perfect EMP, and sometimes that will cost him the game, as we do see here in Exhibit A. Unfortunately for Eggs, doesn't get to use the EMP right towards the end when it doesn't matter anymore. There was one opportunity, but he was forced to translocate away, felt too much pressure, felt too much damage coming towards his way, and then he's gone. So, Village secure. We talked about that +1. Runaway need to win Sanctum +1. That +1 is going to be Village, but we're not at Sanctum just yet. Yep, WGS Phoenix should look to be able to win Shrine. I mean, they must. Runaway are now at match point plus the 1 required on the poll. They are 1 round away from being Contenders champions.
And it feels like this should never have happened. It feels like this should not work, but it is. They are right. WGS Phoenix were not able to deal with it. The Echo has to be what does it for WGS Phoenix or Runaway. This incarnation of the squad is about to tick their entry into the same Hall of Fame as every roster before them.
Yep, no shields available for Runaway. Notice that Wuhiel still on a wrecking ball here. No Sigma. He'll be down early and and Gableshy for first blood.
Assassin feeling the heat as well, but now it's FaZe in the line of fire. It's a trade-off of tanks, but this is where the man advantage helps out WGS Phoenix. And look at them hunkering down, topping Gableshy off before they get back
down
in.
again.
FaZe gets raised, but Faith is right on top of the body, bumps him off the edge. Now Chio down, Merit run down. This is what WGS Phoenix need to be doing. Win the scrap, yes, get the kills, get the man advantage, then hunk it down. Reinforce for a hot second before pushing again. Otherwise, you are overextending yourself.
Wukel should not be playing the ball right now. They need to be looking at Diva. FaZe is going over there. The
Right.
Hog is going to get farmed by Valentine on the Echo. Runaway know it. That is a clear-cut compositional difference. Talked about this in the pregame. Talked about this going to Nepal. Valentine on the Echo is going to demolish FaZe. He knows that he changes, and Merit wants to counter as well.
And now Runaway are completely bass backwards as they got the main tank on the flex and the flex on the main. And already Revenge getting stuck with a bomb. Wuyok getting drilled down. It's still an ult battery. Runaway are a fair way from having the ultimates necessary when you consider WGS Phoenix are still actually charging their own ones up.
Yeah. And they're chasing Runaway into spawn as well. This is brutal so far. Ace on the Tracer is what you want to see. So good on the Tracer. Absolutely does not hold back in using the ultimates. It's night and day between his Tracer gameplay and his Sombra gameplay. Valentine on the Echo, we know how good that is. Merit has not had a successful firing line just yet. Might need to even start thinking about a different pick. However, the McCree is also good into the Tracer, so I understand you want to play for the flashbangs to see if Merit can get something done.
As on Assassin throws the bomb out, gets on top of Faith, but Faith is just fine with the rally running. Absorbs it entirely. Merit finds himself caught on a mine there. Wuyol getting topped off by Transcendence, but as soon as that's run out, WGS Phoenix is still looking just fine. Aztec has his own Transcendence, pops it so they can clean up the rest of this fight. And they know that this could well be final fight territory as it drags out long. 95% now. FaZe still out of the mech. They take a breather to clear up the mines. They know that if they can turn back around now, kill some members off, then they can just close it here and now. And like you said, too many ults favoring WGS Phoenix. Valentine even making the swap. Will have a minefield quick smart to keep the point on lockdown as the kills continue to come up. WGS Phoenix finally having dealt with it. Shame on me if you fool me twice. And that does mean we'll go to the ever-critical Sanctum. This is the one you might have expected Runaway to be inherently favored on, but WGS Phoenix also do have the counters and ready to deploy them.
What an awkward round for Runaway. That was so clear-cut looking at the comps. Night and day difference there. You saw WGS playing everything they are good at, and you saw Runaway playing such awkward picks. Double flex tanks. How are you supposed to navigate this one? Wukel's on a Wrecking Ball. He's never been known for a Wrecking Ball. This guy needs to be playing something like a Diva or a Sigma, but can you play Sigma Diva? Not really. You have to be looking at one main tank, one flex tank in that situation. Somebody's got to draw the short straw. Ended up being Wukel. Revenge even tried the Lucio at one point. Not ideal for him. You see Merit on a Sombra, that's when you know Runaway are in trouble. You don't want to see Merit on a Sombra.
So seldom that you see Runaway in that position, but look, hoist by their own petard. They are the ones who chose to keep FaZe in.
Yeah, they got to sleep in their bed now because you kept FaZe in over Mag. That's the game we're playing now. Gableshy on the Hog as well. That's actually going to be quite interesting. But the important thing is, Valentine is still on Echo, and instantly Gableshy's like, come over here.
Okay, maybe I shouldn't be so nervous. That was a solid hook, but FaZe heals himself up to take a breather. Eyes on Valentine. That's got to be a difference maker for them as Gableshy goes wide on a critical hook on the backside, but they are zoning Assassin way away from this one. Should be able to finish it off between the two of them. Now, if the rest of WGS Phoenix don't lose anyone in the main chunk of the fight, these three members can wheel back around to the point and start contesting it with a man advantage. And Runaway know it's coming.
Assassin has to go and trace here. There's no way he stays. And absolutely, he moves over. Revenge on Valentine is great. Oh, nice pick of the face.
Merit just nails one on FaZe, and that's with Valentine overextending, going down, and WGS Phoenix, they had it, throwing it away again.
Well, there it is. Cap goes over to Runaway, staying in this one. Revenge is still down. Possible timing here for WGS to come back in. They got some decent ults coming online as well. Nearly there for the pulse bomb. Ace will certainly be there above Assassin. Assassin starting on the Han zone. Not great. Bullied out by Assassin. Understands the difference there. Merit might not want to stay with it too much longer either.
Here. These tanks are just eating too much heat here when they try and get aggressive. FaZe, though,
Off the
takes
map, like I
5.
said.
Gamewishi survives. That's critical, and now they're able to keep the pressure on. The res might come through on Assassin, but the damage has long since been done. Chio with this Valkyrie, it's a bit of a hollow one, I'm afraid, and WGS Phoenix will be able to wheel around to the point, get the cap here. This has been really awkward, though, and I feel like Runaway have accrued far more percentage than they really should have.
Well, WGS now have a lot more longevity. They've maintained most of the ultimates. The Transcendence is out of there, but Faith and Ace should be coming back up soon, especially Faith over towards the rally. Revenge coming over to Transcendence. Let's see what kind of early damage that Valentine can do. Doesn't duplicate early either.
Nice and aggressive in the rotation here. Forces a Transcendence out of Revenge. That's one less ultimate available, and that does leave Runaway exceedingly lean here. That's WGS's game plan. Trade ultimates here, stay advantageous. They're forced to pop a rally, though, because that stack does get low, but they're going to try and leverage that into a fight. Charge up some more ultimates if they can get some kills. So far, having found 2, if Z-Bag can get out of this one alive, then that's actually pretty good pickings. Nicely done there by WGS Phoenix. Even finding Assassin on the backside, have now evened up the percentage, and it feels like WGS Phoenix back in control here.
WGS Phoenix have so much priority. Again, Valentine on this Echo is so brutal, especially when you have control. This is where, I mean, this kind of flying pick here, he could be on a fire, but honestly, Echo is so much better. But the point of me saying that is, when you do run someone in the skies like a fire and Echo, you want to have control of the point. Retaking, cool, Assassin secures the bag, and Gableshing down as well.
Yeah, Z-Bag did not read that Chio had moved over to a Brigida. It is a 2-for-2, though, but you got to say, without the tanks here, Valentine is having to kind of do it all himself. If anyone can do it, it is him. But with double Transcendences here, this is going to be a tough one. Ah, brutal. Aztec goes down immediately. Oh, wow! Joking? For God's sake.
Quite a lot coming through from Bob at the same time. Zabag down as well.
I was about to say, by the way, the fight was happening closer to Runaway spawn, which meant WGS Phoenix could get respawners there quicker. Why I'm saying that is because they can pull back to the point, have their respawners meet them there, but the fight never got to the point.
I'll tell you what right now, Runaway, speaking of being close to spawn, they need to try some sort of spawn hold here. You do not want Valentine getting into the open. Valentine might need to start thinking about making a big flank around. You're an Echo, you can certainly do that. WGS have the Soul Gables down.
Again! The CC takes them by surprise. They trade off
Valentine,
with Neo, but that's such a huge loss, and they're in an uphill battle here. They're not getting the kills, not getting the frags at all. Valentine will trade another one back. Z-Bag's got to stand. Wait for Gableshing. Valentine just explodes! 3 for the man! Can he get another? Lone Dog on the point. Wuya will drop him, but Runaway, they had to work hard for that, and the work is not yet done anyway. Ace still running interference. Hooking from Gableshing. He's back in action. Ho-Hog out on the point. Needs a support in his pocket. Does he have one there? Pops Assassin over the edge. Cap back the way of WGS Phoenix. This is explosive.
And Echo is just coming up big for Valentine again. Duplicate nearly available. Plenty of ults about to come in here. Runaway desperate now. Mirror back on the Sombra.
Wuyol.
Told you that's bad news.
90th percentile as Wuyol drops fast. Revenge as well. And with that running, the rally gets enough done. Chio now down. And WGS Phoenix, they're looking to keep their finals hopes alive here in a big, big way. And Runaway, they took a gamble on FaZe. I can't blame them for it, but it has backfired. And that does mean WGS Phoenix are still in with a chance. Not just a slim one, a serious fighting chance.
Made your bed, now sleep in it. In this case, maybe you'll wet your bed and you sleep in it anyway. Bring that joke back from earlier on in the season. You kept FaZe in. You knew it was going to be a risk. You knew that you could take a risk. And again, likewise, no fault to Runaway there. Take a risk if you want to.
Yeah.
If you can win, do it. This was a good win condition on Habana. Run it back. See if it works again. The problem is,
it would have won them the finals.
You're going to Nepal. You're going to a control map. You're going up against Valentine's Echo. And you're gonna get farmed. You want to run double flex tank, you want to try the hog, Echo's gonna demolish you. Valentine did so, and WGS find another map to play in.
Mag was immediately there. I would be surprised if they don't make that substitution. I feel like it would be risky to let this run for another map.
Unless you go to a sniper map. If you go to a sniper map, if you go back to a sniper map for number 6, that would be an argument to put FaZe back, leave FaZe in rather. Bring in, well, you know, they don't have to bring anyone else, and they can just play Merit on the Widowmaker. Like I said, anytime you see Merit on Sombra, it's lights out. That means Runaway are done. They're going to lose that one.
I mean, very literally, yes, that is what she says. Like, she says who turned out the lights, but she also said it in Spanish. At any rate, WGS I mean, it's certainly not smooth sailing there. It's still match point. They haven't evened things up just yet. And I feel like that was one where they were inherently favored to win just because the Roadhog was always going to be a difficult pick to actually win on. And even then, Runaway, you know, they had a fair go at it. They nearly pulled it off there. Getting that win right out the gate on Village, I think sent some alarm bells ringing, but WGS handled the crisis with cool heads and even a little bit of panache. But now we go back into the danger zone. Now we go back into Runaway, looking to execute a serious team comp that has a good chance of winning a map. WGS Phoenix is going to have to match it. Tournament life on the line, but if they keep it alive, we go the full 7-map distance.
Yeah, we're close. I mean, and this proves a lot as well. I think winning on this map, especially in the way that they did, really goes to show that WGS are in this for sure. WGS can't be pushed around. You can't be a Runaway team that is so overwhelmingly good that you can do whatever you want to get away with it versus another team. Do it versus O2, do it versus Talent, do it versus anyone in Group B. Sure, you probably beat them with a double flex tank there. FaZe just completely wins no matter what happens, but versus a team like WGS, not possible. Look at Shrine as the example here. You go to Shrine, you get 100-0, you get styled on by WGS, and that is a WGS that's here to play.
Completely different ball game. And WGS prior to that being down 3-1, backs against the wall. Match point to Runaway, picking up this win. Look, it's still match point. I've said it before, I'll say it again until it no longer is the case, but this is definitely a way to lift the spirits for WGS, to feel like you aren't down and about to be out. They're down and now they're back on their feet. They've still got a few rounds in them, I dare say.
I believe so. I mean, the possibility for 7 is there, but they got to come back and beat Mag. That's the biggest difficulty. WGS have been able to overcome now FaZe at least one time.
Yep.
Can they overcome Mag again?
They had overcome the one time before. So, WGS still on the back foot. Runaway still on the cusp of greatness once again, but yet to cross the threshold. And there is the very real chance that they never do. Will they get that foot over the line, or will WGS continue to stop them short? Find out after the break.
When I was only 10, I was told by a man. He smiled as he said, "Girl, you need to understand. Unless you grow thinner, no man would ever want you." And what a grown-up said, I believe this children do. She wasn't made for your pleasure. Don't you blame it on human nature. She wasn't made for your pleasure. Oh, who will love her? Days for your pleasure. Don't you blame it on human nature. She wasn't made for your pleasure. No, no.
Tell you what was made for your pleasure is this game, this match.
Oh, I thought it was me.
All right. I hope you've been enjoying it. I hope you have found it a pleasurable viewing experience so far, especially if you're viewing it on OverwatchContenders.com, where you are linking your Battle.net account and you are accruing time towards earning those exclusive Contenders skins, the Genji, the Symmetra, and I believe the Tracer.
Mercy.
The Mercy, there you go. Oh, of course it's a Mercy skin. If you watch for long enough, you'll earn all three. And indeed, you may get a chance to watch for long enough because this series is starting to go the difference. It may, the distance rather. It may still be Runaway in the lead. And hey, what a surprise.
Yeah, no one saw that coming, I'm sure. This is going to be a very obvious substitution for Runaway. And by the way, you don't have to watch for 7 or 15 hours consecutively. I mean, you wouldn't be able to 15. I mean, there's no broadcast that goes 15 hours. So it's overtime. So you can watch this one. You can watch Contenders, NA, EU, all the rest that are still on the way there as well. But for now, it's about Korea. For now, it's about the Grand Finals. For now, it's about the best of the best in Contenders. And Runaway, they're still at match point, but WGS have got some bite left.
Certainly some bite, and I mean, maybe even a little bit more than that. Some bites, some claws, maybe a gun. I don't know. Could be a lot.
Talon. No, they went out.
Never know. Ah, right, yeah.
And BM went out in quarters.
Would that be wings? It could be
You're gonna bring a gun to a bite fight. That's a little bit unfair.
but I mean, that is what we do against bears and lions, in all fairness.
Wow.
And even then, sometimes we still lose to the bear. So, it, you know, I feel like we haven't quite turned the technological tables on that species yet. Got nothing more to say about that, really.
Bear in mind,
Ah, nice.
now I have to come up with a point.
Yeah, you've actually got to say something about that.
That's upsetting. I'm trying to remember
well,
what game mode are we going to
well,
next.
you
I
gotta-
do believe it should be either a hybrid or escort. I think pretty sure we only got assault once here, so I'm fairly certain it will be a hybrid. And that being the case, look, I've been wrong before. I might be again. If it's another
I
hybrid,
appreciate the honesty, the willingness to bear it all.
if it is a hybrid, I would have actually expected the potential for snipers to come back through. However, look, we haven't played Eichenwalde yet.
Nope.
We haven't played Hollywood yet. Hollywood would be a big sniper map.
Do we go back to assault?
It is going to be Runaway's pick. It could be. Look, I apologize for not knowing exactly what the next game mode is, but you know, we'll get there eventually.
Oh, we'll find out, I guess.
No, I don't think it's assault. I'm pretty sure it's hybrid then escort. That's how it's finished. So, there shouldn't be a second assault in the first 4 here, the best of 7. So, so escort, you would definitely expect snipers to be in. Escort, I would expect I'm 37 versus Merit again. Hybrid goes either way because if you play something like Hollywood, yeah, you want I'm 37 back in. I don't know if they realize if they're allowed to know what the map is before they get the substitution, because there's a real world now where, you know, based on how the rules kind of work, I haven't looked at it too deep, but if you have to make a substitution first and then the map gets revealed in terms of what Runaway picks, Runaway can now just go to Hollywood because they're not going to substitute Merit out. That's the bonus of having Merit in full time, is that you can just go to the sniper whenever you want. And if you just go to Hollywood now, you're going to have an advantage because I'm 37 is not in.
And we would have to see how WGS end up trying to deal with that. But obviously, if substitutions can be after the fact, that's much less of an issue.
Yeah, well, we haven't seen. I don't know. That could mean we're going to something like more of a Eichenwalde, I believe that's... wait, no, like King's Row. What did we just play?
King's Row is in the mix. We played Numbani, so the other options,
Yeah,
I
okay.
believe, are
Yeah, yeah.
King's Row and...
Maybe we're going to King's Row.
I don't... Is Hollywood in the mix? I think it's...
Is it really not? I'm pretty sure we did it.
We've seen it earlier in the season. See, now I'm
Now we're getting really confused.
Maybe both are. Maybe there's 4 in the pool.
Just play all
Someone please...
No.
Write an essay on Reddit about how we don't know what we're doing because of this, please. I want to see that. By the time I get home, I want to see a huge post about it.
It's Eichenwalde. Okay. So that makes a lot of sense for the no sniper part of things.
Yeah,
what does say to me is Valentine on Echo could be a big thing again. So there you go. We did know it was going to be hybrid. I'm pretty sure it was going to be hybrid escort. That was what I had in my head.
Bones.
But I just
yeah, but that Reddit essay is coming. You can't do anything about it. You know what else is coming? Another match, or another map, another game, another round, another bout, another bite, potentially, from WGS Phoenix.
Running toward, not away this time as well. Still one map away from confirming that grand final. Confirming the victory for the grand final. Valentine expectedly out onto the Echo again. This should force a potential Widowmaker out of Merit eventually. He will start on the Ashe for now as the defenders. He's got to choose first. Valentine can always go back to something else if he doesn't feel like it. Ace is an underrated sniper. He's no R37, but he's serviceable. However, what he's better than serviceable on is going to be Tracer and Sombra. More of his two signature picks here. It will be the Tracer start to begin. What you see, the Assassin is already prepping for that. He wants to make sure he can go toe-to-toe with Ace. That's going to be one of the biggest tools for Runaway. You need Assassin doing well. Mag obviously back in as well. And Mag should be important for this matchup as Gable, she starts on the Hog.
I like Revenge here as well, actually, on the Ana. Not something we see a whole lot of him on.
I think that's a signature. I think he is more well known for Ana than Zen, but he has played more
like
Zen recently.
currently. That is what I mean by that. At any rate, Merit be dead. Z-Bag just gets right in. This is where I like the Ana. Gable Sheet with the anti-heal on him. Takes a lot of heat, but he's actually going to be just fine. They're keeping on the pressure, and I mean, yeah, Runaway are just not equipped to deal with this out of WGS Phoenix. I mean, that's a slam dunk of an attack if I ever saw one.
Yep, everyone's down. Speaking of slam dunks, I mean, that's exactly what Zabag did to Merit straight away. Pops him in the skies, gets a damn near solo kill on him, and the WGS roll on through. This is momentum from the Paul still being carried forward. We talked about phase being a big issue. How do you deal with this Hog? That's flipped. That script has been flipped now. Shoes on the other foot. How do you deal with Valentine on the Echo?
Yeah.
It's got to come down to Merit for sure on the Ashe to shut him down, but that is easier said than done.
Because you're going to have people like Zibag right up in your face trying to run interference, trying to stop you from having a clean firing line. There it is again. Pops him up, hooks him out. Gable, she actually goes down there. They don't end up confirming that kill, which is a little bit unfortunate because Assassin doing a good enough job of running interference. But, oh, there we go. Merit finding the headshot onto Valentine, still getting traded back though as Ace pops one on Mag. And it's the ground game where you got to start looking. Mag gets res, but Assassin goes down. Now Chio as well. And in the mix, WGS Phoenix, they're still pushing forward.
WGS have got a really good amount of time to work with. A 1 attempt on towards A, into the potential for a 1 or 2 attempt on towards B as well. Lots of momentum going forward. Ultimate's coming online as well. Look at the ult charges, high 90s for a lot of players.
Revenge though, he's got himself a nano boost. Merit already gets popped though. Aztec threading the needle on that one. Nice sleep there onto Z-Bag, but he has a lot of health and shield up and is otherwise unthreatened. Aztec pops Transcendence. Doesn't save Ace as he is on the flank, but they're keeping the cart moving and they're keeping the pressure on. That's what matters more. And WGS Phoenix are doing a good job of keeping the fight off the cart because they can afford to. They've got the mobility and they've got members that can anchor their position around the cart. Now they're going to threaten a cap here with Runaway barely putting up any serious resistance.
Runaway needed to get Chio out alive there. That's the one member you don't want to wait too long for in terms of respawns. He's back now, but that cap is about to come on through. Weehal's going to try and solve this one, but he'll probably get demec'd.
Yeah, well, he actually just gets pushed away with the whole Hog. Doesn't need to demec for it, so it gets done. Z-Bag does go down. A little bit too far in there. Didn't need to be in there necessarily, but they're keeping the heat on. That's what they're trying to do here. Unfortunately, they didn't demec Wuyal. I think if they had done that, it wouldn't be as big a deal that Z-Bag went down. But honestly, he reinforces quickly enough that he's back in the fight now anyway.
Dude, that is basically all off the back of making sure Chio died very late there. Can't support the team. Assassin 2 HP lives. Zabag living now as well. By the way, we walked onto the C point with 5 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah.
WGS are on track for a phenomenal time.
Absolutely hauling through this map. And they even took a bit of pause there just to regroup, get aggressive again. Pulse Bomb out, pops Merit immediately. Valentine unthreatened. Assassin's own Pulse Bomb does find it. Smart Ace even going down. Man advantage now to Runaway in a big way. They also have a self-destruct. Wuyal can even just use it to reset the mech. Doesn't even need to do that. Gets hooked in, and he just goes, that brings me closer to my prey. And now Valentine getting run down on the ground. This is the first time we've really seen WGS Phoenix getting even slowed down.
And that's the first reset now dealt against WGS Phoenix. The best counter-punching team in Contenders Korea has finally made that counter-punch land. But I think WGS have also figured out a fighting style that works for them as well. Just keep wailing on Runaway. They can't counter-punch you if you're continually laying shots on them. They are going to lose faith fairly early, so now that a bit of distance has been earned from both ends, WGS have slowed down, but still got plenty of time to work with here. I want you to watch Merit. Merit's been going down very early in these fights. If he can live for a little bit longer, that's how he can start countering Valentine.
Z-Bag looking for an opportunity to get in deep, throw the mines down. He has now found it. Maybe a little bit too far back, actually. This is not where they want the fight to happen. WGS Phoenix are actually too far forward, well, relative to where Runaway are positioned, that is. Now having to use the whole hog just to get back on the cart. It does work, and it actually forces Runaway back into the minefield. This is where WGS Phoenix want the fight to take place. That's immediately reflected in Wuyol having to use a self-destruct, not getting anything out either. Assassin was down earlier, and like you said, Merit does go down. The res is there, but he comes back alive in a surrounded position, constantly ceding ground, having to move further and further back. Mag going to try and reclaim some of the Primal Rage. Needs to dismantle Z-Bag and Gabushi both. Aztac, if he's going to use this, it's got to be now, and he is indeed going to use it. The Barb is there just to cause trouble, be a pain, and it is working. Valentine gets demexed. He went for the swap.
Gibbles is alive.
Back. He's just fine. Nobody's died yet on WGS Phoenix. It's a miracle, or is it skill even? Wuyol demexed, and these tanks are still up and kicking. Finally, as Aztac and Faith go down, the tanks are up a tree without a ladder, but that is a ridiculous amount of cart progress on what was honestly a hair's breadth from a loss.
Okay, Mag gets like 4 kills there, slams down at a bunch of low HP members. Unfortunately for WGS, Aztec did go down. Faith had to solo heal that one for a while. WGS now have had to, well, they're going to choose to move over back to a Lucio Mora kind of composition here. Valentine on a Reaper. Runaway can breathe a bit of a sigh of relief here because they're not just going to get endlessly died. I mean, that part will still happen, but they won't get died by the Echo anymore, so they've kind of gotten rid of the Echo threat.
Z-Bag's got another minefield. He's looking to go for the same play. Might not work this time as Assassin sticks him, but oh well. Can they trade one back? If they can kill Mag here, then the answer is honestly maybe.
Oh, he's so low.
White, that's so crazy.
Pocketed by Wukiao, pocketed and healing by Chio and Revenge as well. Mag gets out alive. Barely just. Merit, nice dynamite to start things out with. Has a Bob again. And this has been the biggest stoppage of play so far. This is where you start getting a little bit more worried for WGS.
Chio down early though, that's
huge.
gross. That's with the Valkyrie expended as well. So now Primal Rage from Mag. Counter dive. Okay, was she staying alive?
A triple corner trap.
Alive. Oh, this is so
It's 3 people.
disgusting. Mag finding them all. The corner trap ridiculous, and Aztac can barely rescue the situation. WGS Phoenix are going to try and win the backside of the fight though, and they may just off the back of Valentine, who finds Mag out. We also been low for a chunk of time here. Chio and Revenge are back up, but look, the cart is still sort of being moved, and this also buys WGS Phoenix time for the tanks to get back.
I can't believe that. Chio goes down instantly with Valkyrie, and Mag turns it around with a triple corner trap using his Primal Rage. WGS is still in this one. Valentine got hard, and Chio and Merit are down again.
You barely get time to breathe. They're just opening the way. The cart isn't actually moving, though. They need to get someone on that because they're creating so much space, but they're also enabling respawns. Wuyol's just been around the cart stalling it this entire time and can stall it for ages. Respawns will come in. They'll come out the gate. They'll have a Transcendence from Revenge. They'll have a Pulse Bomb from Assassin. Runaway could yet hold this one out. WGS need to keep a massive lid on these respawners, and with that Transcendence running, it's hard to do that. Runaway, they're fully reinforced now, and it's WGS Phoenix who have nothing to go on except this Coalescence that has only just come up. The Pulse Bomb gets lobbed into the air, finds no one. Faith, they need this sound barrier. They need a rescue Gabushi's mech. Doesn't get it at time. He does get it off, though, and Runaway are still dying on the front line. So Valentine just training his guns, shot after shot. Wuyol gets the reset with a self-destruct here. No, he does not. Barely stopped from getting in the mech. 10 seconds on the clock is better than no seconds. WGS Phoenix, worst case scenario, they're guaranteed a time bank. Runaway. They came alive on C, but they had to work to burn all that time off the clock, and even then, WGS Phoenix are looking resounding.
And this time it's WGS that are just so difficult to kill. How long do these members live for? Faith just saves everyone with that sound barrier. You're slowly looking at this 94% of the Lucio ticking up. When is it going to be 100? Because if too many people go down before the sound barrier, it's over. WGS do not cap. Gable, she gets demexed, and that is the only casualty they suffer before the sound barrier comes through. The other thing that's important is Valentine needs the sound barrier as a Reaper just to walk forward. Shotguns blazing. Doesn't have a care in the world. If he doesn't have the sound barrier at his back, he has to play very conservative, and that's the difference between a Reaper that's allowed to go off and one that doesn't get pocketed to go off. And now WGS, I gotta tell you, that was a good showing on A and B, and it comes through from a lot of what Valentine brings on the table with the Echo. He's back on the Echo now, and I asked the same question for Runaway. How are you going to deal with this one? Because Merit's been dead for half the game.
And that's the thing. You can look at C and you can go, wow, Runaway nearly stopped WGS Phoenix up. They started C with 5 minutes, 20 seconds. They ended it with only 10. That's a huge amount of stoppage. But I honestly think compositionally and executionally, WGS Phoenix have a huge shot at stopping Runaway well before this gets to C.
And I think literally as well, WGS Phoenix have certainly drawn a line in the sand here. Runaway running towards, again, I'll say, towards the objective. Hashtag down early. Nice pickup.
Z-Bag in deep, eats a stun, needs an anti-heal. He's in trouble. Only one healer. That healer's dead too. And Runaway, they're going to get a quick one here. This was a time where WGS Phoenix needed to slow things down. They needed to at least burn some time off the clock. In the end, it's looking like Runaway likely to cap A in about the same time WGS Phoenix did.
And this is the problem. When you run Wrecking Ball Roadhog, you have no shields to hide behind. So Merit, I mean, it's been a quiet game, but
Field day.
On this A point, comes alive. Gable, she instantly is like, yeah, nah, not feeling that hog anymore, going straight back on the Diva. You need that versus someone like Merit on towards something like the Ashe here as well. If you want Zabag to try and shut him down, Zabag and Gable, she got to work together as a dive tank duo. You got to pocket Zabag with the defense matrix as well. I don't know how Aztec got caught out in the open, but when you have no shields to work behind, it's a lot easier for a Zen to get caught.
And often it's something as simple as like you've charged up a 5-ball, you're letting it loose, and that's the moment where your head is also exposed. It can happen. It can happen to the best of us. But that puts WGS pretty solidly on the back foot here. Ace especially has a little bit of ground to make up for, has to run some good interference, and it's all about slowing
Valentine!
If WGS Phoenix can force some stoppages of play along B, then they can come out advantageous in the overall pace of the game. But this is where that needs to happen.
Nano?
So far, so good. But like you said, Nano available. A lot of lights just lit up on Runaway side of things. They didn't actually take any casualties.
No, they get to walk away from that one scot-free for now. Valentine got caught on very low HP, so couldn't join the dive. Chio low, Merit down early again.
That's big, and Ace has been eyeing up the back line here. They're waiting to find an opportunity to pulse bomb, but unfortunately with the res on Merit, the kill on Faith, it's traded back with Valentine and Aztec trying to come in forward to Gabushi and Z-Bag's rescue. Eyes on Ace still, pulse bomb available. Nope, gets eaten by Wu Yul as Valentine gets popped by Merit, the man they kind of wanted to shut down, and that's the thing. That's why Ace didn't go for it sooner. He knew that Wu Yul was hanging around Merit. He knows that he is, excuse the pun, there Ace right now, the man who needs to be dealing with Valentine the most. WGS Phoenix, even with the trades coming through, this hasn't been a whole lot of stoppage.
Runaway have to peel for Merit so hard here. I feel bad for Merit because he's being targeted so heavily by WGS, and they know Merit's the only one that can deal with Valentine. If Merit goes down early, Valentine will just win you the game by himself. So WGS are throwing everything at Merit and the kitchen sink there. It's been working. Merit low again, and WGS is just trying to keep a lid on him.
They're trying to just kind of dive on some mag here. This is interesting. He may be forced to pop a Primal Rage. Actually, dive works out. Oh, he doesn't get out alive. Doesn't pop a Primal Rage. Revenge went down as well, and I think they recognized that the pressure was coming a bit too big. That was a real gamble from WGS Phoenix. They actually took that fight behind the card. They went, let's not let mag dive forward. Let's try and deal with the backline, maybe kill off one of the healers. They do accomplish that, and it's critical as well, because at Runaway, I mean, they've got a lot of ultimates, but WGS have been able to charge up a few of their own now.
Well, that's the thing I gotta say is B with the capital B. Yeah, Runaway 6 ultimates, Nano in. Nice pulse bombs coming through from both sides.
The res, that's a big difference. The bomb doesn't really do anything though for Merit, because WGS kind of walk away from where that part of the fight is, but I mean, they're still losing here. What this does do is it slows down Runaway getting to the card itself, but they still win the fight. And if WGS Phoenix lose members too late, like what's about to happen to Gabushi, then they're actually still going to end up having a net loss.
WGS overcommitted to that one for sure. They didn't need to stay in close quarters. They did not need to stay inside the hallway.
Goodness
as
sake!
they get sniped down by Merit. Again, out in the open. They tried to just, I don't know, get a little bit of frontline presence, but needed to wait for tanks, and now his life is forfeit, and they need that Transcendence. WGS can't play around this Transcendence for sure.
And now, I mean, they've got to get onto this car, but who really does it? It's got to be Z-Bag. Coming out quick. Yeah, Assassin's down. That's good. Fine by Aztec. Gabushi's able to reset the mech as well. Probably res indeed. Not if Chio goes down. Mag's off environmentally. Chio's still low and backing away. Merit as well. The pressure's on. WGS, they've rescued this one. This is where critical slowdown can happen again, because remember, there actually wasn't a lot of slowdown that Runaway got against WGS on point B. So WGS have come out ahead in that regard and may be able to burn more time off the clock yet. This is a great position to defend from.
Actually, one little small detail here is killing Assassin early, forcing Chio to try and go for the res. Ace can camp the body quite effectively, and that's what we saw there. Chio probably wanted to res, and Ace completely denied it, and then got the kill on the Chio go. So well played by that Tracer player for WGS. 3 ultimates available, nearly 4 for Valentine. And looking good on the B defense.
Ace is keeping good tabs on Assassin as well. It's making it hard for him to do his job. Mag gets a nano boost delivered intravenous. Assassin's down early though. Gabriel Shiva's dying. Valentine dying without the duplicate. That's critical. And now the DMAC Pulse Bomb landing on Wu Yol as Ace starts to clean up the house. Mag, that Primal Rage, that nano boost, it all comes to naught but an environmental kill on Aztec. Wu Yol is not even going to be willing to DMAC here. He knows he's getting staggered out. And that's another minute burned there. This is the game plan now for WGS.
I gotta say, we are blessed in this region with some of the best Tracer players I've ever seen between Ace, Assassin, Proper, Pelican, Stella, you name it. He's staying on Element Mystic as well. Every team in this top 4, top 6 even has a star level Tracer player, and it is insane. WGS now, off the back of Ace, even with Valentine dead, just hold on tight. Assassin, or rather Valentine possibly in trouble. Actually, Assassin with half HP as well.
Chio's dead early. This is brutal. Revenge as well as Ace does his job, and he does it well. Certainly earns his keep. This, in fact, might even be too quick a win here because there's just enough time for Runaway to reinforce or respawn rather and run back to the car, but it is going to be last ditch.
The problem here is even if Runaway actually get this cap in, and oh my goodness, that's a late kill when you have 25 seconds
Brutal.
left. If Runaway get the cap on B, they only have a minute 30 for C. Can you finish Eichenwald in a minute 30?
Nope.
It's unlikely. Doesn't look good.
Merit has a Bob. He's got to do something for them, but who actually jumps onto the card? Probably
Assassin
Michael.
Echo.
Bob's out so early. Look at that stick! Wow, and he walks it back into Revenge. That's going to close the door on this one before it even opens. 1 for 1 on the Echoes as they both beam each other down like an anime. But that's it. We're tied. We are tied up. WGS have done as much. They've clawed their way back from the 0-2 start to pick up the 1. To lose again, pick up another on control, and that was a resounding victory on Eichenwalder. Look, I'm curious on the whole as to how Escort ends up going, because I have got to say, outside of Havana, I don't know that Runaway are going to look quite as dynamite. It's a little bit of an oddball in the map pool. They do get the next map pick. They can try and pick something phase favored, make that one work for them twice. WGS will have to earn this, but they have earned the right so far.
Oh, we're gonna Route 66. I'm calling it right now. That's the map.
Surely.
That's gonna be such an important map coming through for Runaway as well. But look at the faces on the side of WGS. I mean, you gotta feel good about that one. You gotta feel like that's a major victory. You look at Nepal, and the reason I'm not going to try and downplay the victory in Nepal, but that's a lot more expected. You looked at what Runaway are doing, and they took a massive gamble there, and we may actually exit the series. Let me paint you a picture. If WGS win 4-3, then you have to revisit Nepal and say that was a bad move. That was a poor choice by Runaway to make that risk happen. I mean, and that's some you know, 3-head hindsight analysis. Like, well, in hindsight, obviously they shouldn't have done that, but at the time, you felt like, hey, we're ahead by 2 maps. It's 3-1. You got room to maybe try and make a play happen. You can't fault them for that. But the flip side of the coin does say, what if? What if you just play Mag there? What if you just didn't try and force this phase Roadhog thing? You were obviously going to get farmed by Valentine and the Echo. And then you got farmed by Valentine and the Echo, even with Mag coming on Eichenwalder, which was your pick. And you even had Assassin desperately go onto his own Echo. I mean, is that the level we're on now? Is that the place we're at where you have to think about that? Because guess what? If you put Assassin onto Echo, who plays Tracer on your team? No one deals with Ace. And just dealing with Valentine has been proven not enough. You got to shut Ace down now as well. The DPS threats on WGS are incredible, and you got to deal with that.
They're starting even to overwhelm Runaway and their legendary DPS players. And look, here's the bone I will throw Runaway. The fail state there for Nepal still had a success state further down the line, and that is on the subsequent Escort, where maybe they do run phase again. If they can pick a successful map where they can run the hog, they have shown that WGS aren't really that hot at dealing with it. Route 66 can be a bit of a different beast though, and it's not going to be as easy, I dare say, as it was on Havana. WGS, they know it's a marathon, not a sprint. They're keeping the energy high. They're having a snack.
I gotta say,
my point there, at any rate, is look. It's not a mistake yet. It's a mistake once it fails, but even then, it was still a sensible risk in as much as there is this subsequent opportunity on this next escort map.
You could argue, even Mag there. I don't know if it would have been enough. Would Mag have been able to deal with the echo? Maybe, maybe not. You see what Dobie just is there, what he does there as well for WGS. He hands all the ABCs to his players. I don't know what snack that is, but here you go. Here's the ABCs.
I want to have one now. I'm curious. I'm hungry. That's what that's done to me. And I tell you who else is hungry. Yeah, I'm hungry for map 7. Both of these teams are hungry for their win. WGS Phoenix, it would be their first win ever. Runaway, this would be this roster joining the annals of history alongside Runaway rosters of the past, accomplishing what every lineup before them has accomplished. And both teams are about to cross that finish line. Only one of them can. 3-3, all tied up. Match point decided after the break. Don't go anywhere.
Empty spaces, trying to find the words to say this. I am tired of stages telling me that I'll be better when I'm not. I'm here, I know we used to have it all. No, I'm not, I'm here, wish I could have broke this fall. I need you now. I don't care how. I would do anything. I need to talk to you somehow. I need you now. Empty faces, people don't know what to say to me. They're honest answers, but they can't feel the crushing weight of I don't know. I know I'm here and I can't change the past. And I want so bad to heal, but I keep coming back. I need you now. I don't care how.
3-3 match point, doesn't get any closer, doesn't get any better, and is exactly why you should tune in to Contenders Korea night after night after night, because this is what the region delivers. It delivers the best of Tier 2. It delivers the best players, the closest matches, and the best grand finals.
If you're not watching this right now, you are missing out. Grab your friends, tell your buddies, wake them up. I don't care what time it is for you right now. Contenders Korea Grand Final Season 2 is going to a Map 7, and everybody's got to know about it. For all the VOD viewers out there, hello, welcome. Enjoy the show. This was a great game. You didn't see this one live, and you should have. But now you get to enjoy it anyway. Map 7, and I hope the result hasn't been spoiled for you, because right now we are spoiled in terms of how good this entertainment value is, how good the teams have shown up today, and now this is it. Somebody's got to take it. The decider, a champion, will be crowned after this map.
If you've only just got out of bed to watch this, then let me tell you, it'll wake you up quick, smart, and I honestly don't know what to make of what will be our guaranteed final map. We believe we go to Escort here. Now, last Escort went the way of Runaway. It went their way resoundingly, and a lot of that was on the back, specifically of FaZe and his Roadhog. We've already talked about it at some lengths here. On the other side of that, WGS with Enocast in over Z-Bag, with I'm37 in over Ace as well, and also Waffle in over Faith. They couldn't measure up. A lot of that was just the main tank difference there, and yeah, it's happening again. FaZe is back in. First of all, I'm curious to see if WGS even bothered to make substitutions, if they're predicting a Roadhog, if they even care to match it, and I imagine it is the last of those that is the case. And now I am interested to see how exactly they deal with it.
I'm torn. For WGS, there are two things at stake here. One, you have found a very dominant winning combination. Ace Valentine is insane right now. That Tracer Echo duo is insane right now. The problem is, we are moving into Escort, where it's going to be sniper plays. It's going to be dominated by sniper plays. Do you bring back I'm37, who's been no slouch either? But you would be giving up Ace. You would be giving up that Tracer.
No
but you would have that Widowmaker. So far, they've not made a sub happen, and I do not believe they will make a sub happen. So there is a gamble either side of that fence. There is no fence sitting today for WGS. On one hand, you're going to keep your comp, keep your team, but you're potentially going to be playing into a bad compositional situation versus a team that's going to be running a hog on a much better hog comp. This is not going to be Nepal again. This is an Escort map. Big difference here between this and Control. On the other hand, if you do try and match the hog, you quote-unquote play the correct meta composition. That's been proven on Havana that yours is just by definition worse.
And let's look at it through another lens as well. WGS Phoenix have played two different rosters tonight. They've played the one that we've seen in every single map except Havana, and then they played the one they had on Havana. Havana, not only did they lose it, it was their biggest loss.
Yeah, they
Even
lost
on the
bad.
other ones where they lost, it was close. So what do you run? Do you run the roster that lost by a country mile, or do you run the roster that won and when they lost, made it close? I know what my gamble is, and WGS seem to agree with me. Route 66, it's going to decide it. It cannot go to a draw. Runaway, they know what they're going to play. They know it worked before. And now if WGS are going to win this grand final, they're going to earn it good and true. They must overcome the team comp that dismantled them just a few maps ago.
I might be a bit of a prophet in terms of predicting which map will go to, maybe even predicting who will be substituted in and out, but I cannot tell you who is going to win this map right now. Two styles clash. You have Runaway coming in, Hog meta, Wu Kiao on his signature Sigma over here. FaZe dominated WGS on this Hog on Havana. Lost, you could even argue, Nepal for his team as well on that map. Probably shouldn't have had him in. Merit Assassin double sniper versus WGS. Ace Tracer down instantly. Valentine still on the Echo. There is no res. And WGS, they get to hold still. They're on the attack.
This is the danger. WGS don't have the same flexibility. Yeah, Z-Bag in too deep, way too far. Now Valentine gets taken out. They don't have the flexibility, is what I was just saying. But if they start popping off, I expect them to run circles around Runaway. It's getting started. That's going to be tough, because this is what this team composition could do. Locks down all angles, all sight lines, corrals you, keeps you stuck in spawn. 30 seconds gone already.
I gotta say, Zabag, he didn't go too far. He's trying to get as far away as possible to get the double entry angle. He wants to be near big Earls. He wants to have that big flank as well. He might try and do that again, or goes for Assassin.
Has the Mercy in the pocket, so he is going to be fine, but the pressure starts to get put on. He doesn't have to back up too far, though, because of the Mercy in the pocket. Look at this. Aztec fighting out of spawn, taking damage, even takes one shot too many and goes down. It's unbelievable. and they're struggling to break out. Now a minute elapsed. Gabushi DMX, Z-Bag gonna go down. They finally find FaZe with an environmental. That's unresable. That's critical. This gives them an opportunity. They can respawn him before FaZe is back. 6v5, that's gotta be the shot.
Right, here it is, WGS now opportunity. No FaZe, the next means no main tank. Wuhao has to try and really hold on. FaZe is going to take a while to get back onto this point.
Yep.
He's a slow Roadhog. Faith and Aztec moving over. Here we go, the Reaper's out.
Okay, trying to disrupt Assassin once again. He is just fine. Again, Mercy in the back pocket, but Reaper's out, like you said. Now, in from the backside is a Dragon Strike. Gabushi running up to do something about it. They get Assassin. They manage to separate him from Chio. There we go. No more umbilical cords. Runaway now. Turning around, they find Z-Bag, but they are on the back foot here. They're getting forced back. WGS Phoenix, though, this has been very costly. 2 minutes gone here, and they've got to preserve this momentum, or it doesn't mean anything in the long run.
Ace's stick was beautiful there into FaZe. Takes him down. Headshots him down as well. And WGS now, it all comes down to taking down FaZe. He dies twice through. Merritt dies to supports twice through. He died to Aztec earlier. Dies to Faith now. Ace gets another kill into Assassin, and WGS should cap off that.
And I think the real difference maker here is actually Faith is unlocked. You see how he's playing. Now that he can move around, he can get where he needs to go, disrupt these snipers, bump them into the line of fire of Ace and Valentine. You work with Z-Bag to do that. You've got Gabushi. You can put someone right where they don't want to be.
Okay, I lie. I thought the cart was closer. It's
Z-Bag?
not actually close enough. That doesn't matter. Minefield in. Doesn't catch it on just yet.
A little bit of an ambitious minefield, dare I say, and Revenge with the Transcendence. They can clear up a chunk of it. The cap is nearly through, but now the fight breaks out. First of all, it's going to be a whole hog, but Revenge goes down early, and everyone just runs, ring around the Rosie. They come back out towards the whole hog with the defense matrix. Everyone's got to duck and cover. Oh! Strike still finds Chio! Goodness gracious! WGS putting on the heat right now, and the cap comes over the line. Still looking to collect more kills as Assassin goes down. They need to keep Z-Bag alive here. He's going to be able to pull back to the team. Nicely done. Look, time has been lost, but now that they've got momentum, they've yet to lose it.
Gabushi, so well played there. Lops that one in for a three-pointer. Collects 2 more kills on the sidelines as well for a layup, and now WGS finally onto B. Yes, they've lost a decent amount of time, but can they make up for it now onto B? They have to dislodge Merritt. They don't have a good comp to do so. It will come down to Z-Bag and Gabushi diving onto Merritt, keeping him down.
Looking to do just that. Actually end up finding Revenge first, but Z-Bag's got to be careful. Ace trying to run interference. Z-Bag's got to pull off, find a health back, and it means Gabushi is the one kind of minding the cart with the rest of the team. They've actually got to push a bit forward of the cart to really give it space to push. These are critical kills. This slows down WGS, and they're not getting counter trades. They'd be foolish to commit any ultimates here as well. They only have the sound barrier left in terms of the members alive. So the rest are going to try and pull back as best they can. That's a critical stoppage for Runaway.
This is actually really important for Runaway now. They can get a completed hold on B with the ults that they, well, with the ults that then will get them further ults and continue their position onto B. They have high ground control. They've completely stopped up WGS now. All momentum is gone. WGS, so they do get a nice opening kill. Courtesy of Z-Bag,
who was still around the back. He had not left that position, never died. I think even took Assassin a little bit by surprise, and Assassin blew a pulse ball on that. Yeah, cannot get to him in time. Assassin getting in behind Wu Yal. He's got a gravitic flux, but he's actually taking a lot of heat right now as the sound barrier's out. They want to press this advantage. They know they've got an opportunity. They can drill down FaZe on the cart, far from where Chio can realistically res him. Gabushi is slow, but he's still alive. Pulse bomb out, getting a little bit more done, softening up Wu Yal. Can they finish him? Yes. Now they've reclaimed the momentum. That's the hardest thing for this team composition to do, and that's so critical. Every time Runaway stops WGS, the clock starts for them. They must get back in control of the cart within 30 seconds, or they start to run into the danger zone.
Absolutely an insanely big tempo-based team for the WGS composition here. They need to maintain control. They need to make sure they are 1 foot ahead, 1 step ahead of Runaway at all times, but the ults are still there. Assassin looking for Pulse Bomb. Revenge can slow this one down with the Transcendence as well. Whole hog up and available. Will be difficult to stop. Ace is fine. He's got a recall available. Hook does land. No, it doesn't actually land. I lie.
Rotation. WGS Phoenix a little bit split up, but they're also splitting up Runaway now as Chaos unfolds. Chio down, that's huge. Revenge, that Transcendence now runs out. Can FaZe stay alive? He's surrounded on all sides. He's isolated as well. Ace, his guns are trained on the man, but he does take one down with him first in the form of Valentine. Now it's all on Ace, but I tell you, if anyone could do it, it is him. They've still got the tanks in the mix. You cannot say the same for Runaway right now with FaZe dead and Wu Yal hemorrhaging health, finally getting D-Mex now. Z-Bag, oh, he barely goes down. down there. Can't quite get the rescue in from Aztec, but Revenge is down. Chio again, barely finding breathing room as Valentine's back in, absolutely drumming down these members. Back in control of the card, not a lot of time, but a B cap is an even greater safety net.
You know what's really good about WGS right now is that Faith is getting even super active. How many times has he been active in the kill feed now, adding a lot of damage to the team? Sound barrier available soon as well. Face down, he's getting farmed this game, and Zabag is playing out of his mind on the ball.
Wants to feed a few more ultimate charges over Aztec and Gebushi are low though. Runaway, they're going for it, and fairly so. Are they going to get this? Are you joking? Faith nearly at the sound barrier, but Mirror just pops off on the kill feed. Z-Bag's got to hang out here for a long time. Who even gets here next? I think it's Faith. And he might not even get there. Solo sound barrier gets it, keeps it alive. But now who's next? It's got to be Gebushi. I don't think he can get that, and they are going to hold that out on literally, what, 0.6 meters from the cap? That's ridiculous. And they had a lid on it. They killed Faith so fast. They had a lid on those respawners, but Merritt got an off angle. He popped off, got a couple. They hadn't quite topped the tanks off. Faith didn't quite have a sound barrier. Game of inches indeed. And now this is going to be hard for WGS to slow Runaway down.
That's the difference between winning and losing. That could be the fight
Quite possibly.
that we revisit for this map 7 that says that is where Contenders Korea was won and lost. That final fight on B in the last 5 seconds, Runaway again, the most clutch team I've ever seen in Contenders. I'm not even going to. I'm going to drop the Korea part of that now. Just in Contenders.
How do they do it?
The most clutch team in Contenders ever. The best counterpunch team ever in Contenders. You saw WGS laying hands on Runaway here, just continually dropping jabs and dropping punches in, but Runaway find that one opening they need, and they put WGS on the floor that one time. The counter does come down, but WGS beat the count this time as we head into the next round of this bout. And for WGS now, this is gonna be wild. We are not gonna see a time bank at all. This is gonna end on B. This opening defense from WGS has to be so good. Remember how much time Runaway bled off the clock for Route 66 at the beginning areas with the empty train cards. If WGS do not sort out A, this map is probably over and the grand finals will be over too.
And even if they do stall it out, they've then still got to secure a hold on B like Runaway did to them, and they've got to do it just barely one better. I think this is the team comp to do it though. We've got Valentine back on the Echo. I like this. It's worked. They can do it here on the defense, but Merritt is still going to be a problem for him.
WGS going to be holding back towards the classic big girls here. Valentine ace. This is the combo that has to work. Big opening pick.
Right in. Z-Bag, big shield means he can shrug off a lot of the anti-heal there, even with the Orb of Discord now. That one gets struggled. Runaway, they only lose the one before they back off, but WGS Phoenix can just do that over and over. That's all they need.
Zabag is the most punishable member on this team, though. He can't overcommit. If he gets hooked by FaZe one time while he's trying to get away, that's an issue. FaZe misses the hook.
Critical. Nobody dies on that one, though. But Zabag gets away. The card does creep ever so slightly each time.
It's about the first ultimate, though. When does Aztec get this nano boost? That's going to be so important.
Valentine!
Oh my god!
Does kill Chio, and now Merritt as well as Tac. Proving his worth, but the trades are coming in, and that's danger for WGS. Ace has got to start getting big in the kill feed.
Yep, there it is.
There's one. Could someone finish off Revenge? They need to respawn, though. WGS Phoenix, there's some slow walkers to come back into this fight. They're losing the Big Earl's position now.
Valentine will get back soon. Echo is going to be pretty quick. Aztec has a nano available. Do expect it to be used soon. Zabag could probably be a good target. Minefield is nearly there again. He cannot get caught by a hook. Valentine gets a kill.
Has Revenge right in front of him there. The res comes through. Merritt down. There we go. No res for that one, and Revenge pops. WGS keeping a lid on it. It feels like it's only barely, though. It feels like the pot is on the cusp of boiling over, and every single pair of hands has to be keeping the lid down. But they all slam down. They stop it from boiling over this time.
Okay, Runaway, 2 minutes left remaining right now. WGS frothing at the bit right now, just like an overboiling pot. 2 ultimates available, nearly coming up to 4. Faith and Gable, she close. Ace has been so phenomenal. Every time WGS lose somebody, they actually kind of punch pretty big this time themselves as well. So they're starting to shift up. They're able to clutch as well. Valentine with the duplicate, so important, but one headshot from Assassin from America can turn it around.
Valentine needs to keep the heat off him. That's been a nice minefield. And he's drilled down Wuyol nice and quickly as well. Chio, can he go for a res? It's going to be hard because He actually needs to keep men and keep healing in the pocket. Valentine is able to get off the whole hog. Doesn't last very long there. Dragon Strike disrupting the positioning now as Gravitic Flux up, down.
There it is.
Goes Aztec, but he lives, and yeah, Ace popping up. He's unthreatened right now, and every time that's the case, he gets kills. Geo now as well. At this point in time, WGS Phoenix had yet to advance the card. But that's just because of where these team compositions want to hold. Right now, Runaway have not moved since this point.
And this is deadly now. Runaway are approaching the 1 minute mark. In fact, we've gotten there. It's less than 1 minute
They're swapping.
now. Wu Kiao's going on to Wreckable Assassin on a Sombra. I've not even seen Assassin on Sombra before. I don't know what this is at all. This is unprecedented territory for me.
It's Runaway on the back foot. That's what it is.
Runaway are getting really desperate. 40 seconds left.
I mean, they've got to get desperate. This is their last shot. No ultimates. Pulse Bomb in the pocket of Ace. Nano Boost available. The Sleep trying to come out. The Nano Boost onto Gable. She's Z-Bag. Putting the pressure.
Merit!
Popping Merit already. And FaZe goes down. I think this is where the line gets drawn in the sand. The sand is poured over with concrete. The bunker is built. The position does not budge. Runaway now. Last shot. 15 seconds. Revenge over the cliff. Takes a dive.
Gable, she's Z-Bag, ultimate's available, Valentine nearly there as well, Revenge coming back in last 10
Watch the
seconds.
clock.
What can we do? There won't be an EMP.
Minefield on the cart. How do they even approach this? Wuyo takes chances to get there. FaZe Andy, you're slept up. Not on the cart. WGS dethroning the Kings. The uphill battle that it had to be for Route 66. The team composition that was their Asa kryptonite on Havana to turn it back around, not just from match point, but against that same team composition on a map where they're favored. The gamble for WGS to go no substitutions, don't match it, play asymmetric, and we can win. I've never seen Runaway get held so devastatingly in a match point position, and WGS, for the first time in Korean history, are the champions.
0-7 in 2019, Contenders champions in 2020. Never let your past results dictate what you can do in the future. Never allow that result to decide what you can achieve beyond that. A trophy lift that has been a long time coming. 2020 in Korea has been a major changing of the guard. No longer about Runaways. No longer about the Element Mystics. We got O2 Blast winning for the first time. We got WGS finally coming in. What a major turnaround for this organization. Phoenix, that sounds about right to me.
And you know what this year looks like to me now? It looks like a year of two halves. In the first half, we closed the book of Volume 1 of Korean history, capped off with the redemption arc for O2, finally getting their win. But now we open the sequel, and it starts already shaking things up. It starts with WGS. It starts with a team that not only hasn't won before, but has barely even come close prior to Season 1 this year. They're like a side character that just got promoted to protagonist as they slam dunk, they slay the previous hero. The tears on the faces, the absolute ecstatic movements and expressions. These boys are proud, and they should be.
6 teams, if my counting is correct there. 6 teams now, including WGS, who have ever won Contenders in Korea. Season 1, 2018, XX, we remember that one. Season 2, Season 3, Runaway. Season 1, 2019, Element Mystic, 2019, Season 2, Runaway. Season 1 of this year, 2020, O2 Blast, and now WGS get to write their name on a very exclusive list of teams to have ever lifted this cup in the most prestigious, most difficult region to win in all of Contenders. I'll say that. I don't care. Come at me. That's what it is. That's the truth.
Oh, absolutely it is. And you know what? Every single one of these players has a bright future to look forward to. Whoever wins Contenders Korea, they just get that slight preferential treatment if you are trying to scout out the talent here. We see it time and again. It's the winners that get picked up. You got to think about players like Mag right now who didn't get picked up previously. 2 losses in a row this year. But for WGS, they can bask in a glow that they have never before known.
Let's talk about those players for a second. I'll go through all of them.
Please.
Look at this DPS lineup. There have been many discussions. I've talked about this plenty. I've been very vocal about this one, but the DPS position in Korea is extremely competitive. I cannot overstate that one. That is a hard position to play because there are so many damn good DPS players in Contenders Korea, and Ace and Valentine coming through big time, and they are, to me, the two players that pushed it across the line for this team. We can say, yes, the team overall is going to be really good, but when push comes to shove, when you're really looking for one team to stand out, one set of players, even one play, call it a duo, whatever you want here, it comes to Ace and Valentine. That is exemplified in the fact that you look at map 7, there is a choice to put I'm 37 back, and there is a choice to put Cast, Waffle, that old lineup in for Route 66, and I asked the question, do you go back to the comp you're supposed to play with the team you're supposed to be playing, or are you going to try and win with the tried and true? You're going to try and win with a team that is now really woken up, really shown up towards the end there, and they chose Ace and Valentine. They won with them, and that's exactly what we're looking for. Gable, she outplays Rukel here. Gable, she now, in my mind, I have no doubt the best flex tank in Contenders Korea of the season, potentially of this year. You look at the tanks as well. Look at that tank like Zabag comes through. Who even was this guy like a month ago, 2 months ago, a season ago? He comes on the wrecking ball. He demolishes Runaway in that last snap and across the last couple of maps. Cast had a rough game. Give that guy a little bit more time. You look at Faith. He starts popping off on the Lucio. What's going on there? He's super active on the kill feed. Waffle played super well on towards the Mercy. You look at Aztec, no doubt in my mind, best flex support in Contenders Korea as well. This team across the board between the 9 players, I'm 37 needs no introduction. When he comes in, they lose Havana, and I'm 37 still slams. He still looks damn good on that map. This is the team that wins Contenders Korea.
I want to talk about one guy in particular just to jump off the back of that, and that guy is Z-Bag. And I talked about it at the top of the night. The man with the telephone in that team lineup. He came in having to fill the boots of Oberon, one of the...
And Muse.
Yeah, and Muse, some of the best main tanks available in the region at the time. This is somebody who could have so easily been a weak link. Now, I'm going to be completely clear. Do I think he is as good as Oberon? No. Do I think he is as good as Muse? No. Do I even think he's as good as Mag, the guy he just beat? No, I don't. But he was able to hold his own. That's what the team needed. I don't know that this guy ascends to Overwatch League right this minute, but watch him next year. Watch him season after season. He's already filled some of the biggest pairs of boots there are. We've yet to see him even start running. Once he's doing that, who knows how good this guy could get.
From being knocked out by Runaway last season to now getting the revenge on them this season, what an insane turnaround. This is a team that you already saw had the boots in the ground as early as Season 1. A team with very little expectation. I don't need to remind you of their score last year. That's a score that was in the back of their minds, but you don't let that change you. You don't let that confirm your identity for what you're going to be taking into the next season. And they look at Season 1. They win Week 4 of Contenders Korea. When we had the weekly tournaments, they beat Runaway 3-1 there. They knock Runaway down 3-0 in the lower bracket, and then they lose to Runaway in the lower bracket after being knocked into the lower bracket themselves by O2 Blast, who were then the eventual champions. They probably felt a little bit robbed. I could tell looking at these guys, I could tell looking at those results, I could tell looking at that game was not their best game. Could have made the grand finals, missed out. Playoffs Runaway, too strong this time. You can't even say that WGS maybe didn't deserve this one. They beat a Runaway in top form. I think Runaway came into playoffs looking just as hot, if not hotter, than previous playoffs in Season 1. And what a final boss to have to beat to become champions.
Honestly, anytime you beat Runaway, even though it's a new roster, it's not the same Runaway as last year. It's not the same Runaway that has won so many times before. That's the nature of this team. But the other part of the nature is they always bring in these new rosters, and they always look incredible. The fact that they made both of the grand finals this year kind of speaks to that. But this is not a Runaway that wins. And it feels like when you beat a team like Runaway, you prove yourself above all else. And this is where WGS can reflect on Season 1. I like you were saying, where they lose to Runaway, they can look at that and go, that's in the past now. Maybe we even could have beaten them there. Maybe we could have actually made the grand finals ourselves. Who knows how that would have gone. You can only speculate so much, but if they've got robbed, if they were robbed back then consider today an insurance payout. Consider today getting the win that you should have always had, and on the biggest stage. Even if they'd beaten Runaway last time, there would have still been O2 Blast before them, but today there is nobody above them. They are at the top.
And people said, you know, they lost Laurie after the end of Season 1. Laurie was their head coach, and he went to Boston Uprising. And we looked at this team, and, you know, the comments out there said, is this team still good? Can WGS perform without Laurie? They just won. They've done it. They were able to still get in there. Ex-main support Dobie stepping up, becoming a coach on the team as well. Backed by day one that you saw, also on the coaching staff. 99, I believe, is the number for Dobie. 1 is for day one. Together, they are 100, and that is exactly where we are at, 100% for WGS. But let's take a little bit of time here to also reflect on Runaway for a second. We talked plenty about WGS. Runaway now for second time in a row this year, unfortunately, will fall down in second place. This was a much closer affair. This is one they had a lead in. At one point in the series, they had 3-1. At 3-1, they had how many? 3 maps worth of opportunities to potentially get the win. They were at match point for a while. I don't want to harp on about Nepal. I don't want to go back. I don't want this to be a thing where...
I'll throw the bone and say I'm not actually convinced they would have won if they'd had Mag in any way.
I don't want this to be a discussion where people just look at Nepal and say they threw it there, because really, if anything, Route 66 was more winnable than that. Route 66, they had this incredible hold on B, and that should have been the game-winning moment, because they get through A, they go to B, they've guaranteed it, they've done that. And they had, in my opinion, the superior team comp for Route 66. And the point I'm trying to get to here as well, look, I said for WGS that your past results don't necessarily define you in your new team, and that is true for both sides of the coin. When you have this overwhelming legacy of what past Runaways have done, look, it doesn't mean, would you consider Runaway in 2020 to be a failure because they didn't win contenders? I don't, because a back-to-back second place here is still commandingly strong. That shows consistency. That shows that Runaway is an organization that's existed since the Apex days, that has consistently been winning in contenders' career. Consider that among all the seasons that have been, this team has won 3 of them. They could have won 4 today. They could have. I think they are still the most winningest team in terms of contenders titles overall over the years. Element Mystic might be the most dominant team of the previous year, but between 2018 and 2020, Runaway have done better with the overall results.
Easily. And when you consider the talent that passes through this region, how much of it makes Overwatch League, the fact that this is and always has been the strongest Tier 2 region, for a team to be that consistent in this kind of environment is nothing short of incredible. But it's that level beyond that WGS accomplished today that makes them the champions. It is that moment to moment. And I think that's why it's so exciting, so satisfying for WGS, because you beat the consistent teams. That means you're beating the benchmark of the region. You're beating the team that is always exceptional. If you're a level beyond that, what does that say about you? The question always gets laid out, can they maintain it? O2 Blast this year couldn't. WGS, they've got the whole off-season to go, really, before they start to look towards contenders next year, and whether they can continue that then. But I can tell you one thing for certain. Runaway are going to look good next year. They always will.
This is going to be a name, a brand, a team that is, the legacy lives on. Look, I don't consider them to have, I don't look down on them at all. I don't look at this result and consider them to have done poorer or lesser just because they didn't win a contender season this year. They've still got 3 in the bag, 3 out of 7 total seasons. That's insane. They are one of the biggest exporters of players to the Overwatch League next to teams like Element Mystic and O2 Blast. That's something you hold on to. And for Runaway, success continues next year. I have no doubt the players, there's got to be plenty of players from Runaway that will be moving up, but even the ones that don't, they'll be on a great team next year as well. Contenders' career has been fantastic this year. We produced such amazing teams, such amazing players, such amazing storylines that have unfolded. And I don't know, man. This has been great. This has been the best.
It's been unbelievable, to say the least, and obviously coming into Korea, this has actually been our first time actually covering Contenders Korea as well, and I mean, what a treat that has been. What an amazing year this has been to come in and see these teams, see these players, see how it all unfolds, and every year feels like that with Korea. It feels immense. It feels gravitic. And it's always so great to be at this point in the year, the end of it all, to look back across it all, to see the best of what Tier 2 has to offer. And as always, it's been our pleasure to bring it to you as well. Congratulations, one final time, champions of Season 2, and in a sense then champions of this year, WGS Phoenix, who almost got there in Season 1, who did get there in Season 2, who have finally claimed the name, reclaimed indeed the name of WGS, and no more fitting a moniker than Phoenix under which to do it.
And now we look towards 2021 for Contenders Korea as well. What new storylines can we expect? What new players will join the fold? Element Mystic looked good this season. Plenty of rookies on that team. Plenty of rookies have come through. Plenty more players will be going towards the Overwatch League for 2021. You can be sure of it. Plenty of names that we saw today. Look across these two teams. Look across the players' faces as well. Remember them. You're going to see them next year. You're going to see them on the big stage. You're going to see them at the biggest teams, the best results. They're going to be Overwatch League caliber. And then there'll be new players there in Contenders Korea to take their places, to walk in those shoes, and to make 2021 another great year for Contenders.
And who's to say 2020 is done? It is still that Overwatch League off-season. You never know who is going to get picked up in amongst all the roster chaos. There could be more tournaments to come as well. Obviously, a lot of those Overwatch League teams, a lot of them do run things in the off-season. I don't think this is the last we've seen of these players, even this year, let alone next year. But it is the last we see of them for Season 2 of 2020 for Korean Contenders. And as we said before, it has, as always, been an absolute joy and a privilege. It has been an absolutely stunning night for this grand finals. I could not have asked for a better one. In fact, I got exactly the one I asked for. The full distance, the new leaf being turned, it was all there. And I have been Matt Pixie Carroll. Joining me here, of course, as always, has been Kevin Averwalker. I would also like to give a thanks to the rest of the production team that actually makes this possible for us. Dave Hallworth, our producer, Kenneth Anderson as well, our engineer. I would also like to thank Will Henderson, who provides original compositions. I would like to thank Craig over in Korea, our man on the ground for the local Korean contender scene. And of course, above all of that, Dan McHugh, the man who makes Contenders possible, the man who makes Contenders what it is, not just in Korea, but all around the world. I'm so privileged to work with so many great people to bring you such great Overwatch, but that is going to do it for us tonight. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope very much to see you maybe later this year, hopefully next year as well, and long into the future beyond that. But for tonight, we are saying good night.
fight for you every second. To keep your touch, keep your touch.